and she got her flu shots. Every time she got her flu shot, she was sick for a week. What the hell?
After I got my shot on Tuesday, I left the hospital and I started to feel real irritable and impatient and cranky, and then I realized, oh shit, it's just traffic, motherfuckers. These sons of bitches, go!
But it helped, though, see, it added to that irritation. I'm sure it did. I mean, you can't just take a shot of that stuff and just walk around going, hi, I feel great.
Well,
I had no side effects, dude.
So say it's medicine, you know, different things happen to different people, so.
That's true. That's true.
You know,
I just hate medical science. So
the only thing I can say is, yes, people die from everything, but whenever the bodies start overflowing the hospital, you got to do something. So,
yeah,
just, I mean, but anyway,
you know, and that I agree with that. And here in Florida, I am seeing zilch. It's like nothing ever happened. It's insane. We had a curfew for like a month, and poof, nothing. Everything went straight back to normal. The only thing is the stores have, like Walmart, is not 24 hours anymore. That's the only real big difference. And that's it, honestly. The bus runs, all the stores are open, all the restaurants are open, everything is open. You go to places, people's not wearing a mask. Some people are, I do. I mean, the only time I don't wear a mask is if I honestly leave it in the wrong pair of pants. Because I walk up to the 7-Eleven and I forget that I have my little pair of shorts on or something and I don't have my pants on. And that's where I keep my mask. So, and I've already been through it. It's weird. And then you got the governor down here is like, we're no more blah, blah, blah for anything. It's like, okay. And because like I said, even since last year when this started, after the initial curfew that we had, nothing seemed any different. And everybody was just like, good. We can't make any money because we can't open. That was the biggest concern.
Right.
And I've been working this whole time. We've been hiring this whole time. We've been having overtime this whole time. It's insane.
We have a few places up here that have been forced to close because they can't get any employees to come in and work. That's the problem up here right
same
now.
thing down there. You can go if I all of a sudden became unemployed, I can go somewhere and wash some dishes right now, tonight.
But there's people out there that have the unemployment that work.
If I had to, I can go make some cash tonight washing dishes.
Yeah, people on unemployment are getting what, $65 more than if they're making $50 an hour for 40 hours. Crazy. So why would they want to come to a job when they can make more sitting at home? Randy, didn't you post something like that?
Yep.
Yep, that's where I see it.
I mean, I have nothing against collecting unemployment. If you need to collect unemployment and you need to get food stamps, get them. If the government wants to give me free stuff, okay. But guess what? I'm not paying for it.
All right.
You want to give me some free food, okay. But don't give me a bill later. That's not right.
All right, so.
That's not the way it's supposed to work. So anyway, thank you.
I don't know what any of that. Thank you for what?
The rattlings of Jason.
Yeah, my bad for rambling. Thank you for my bad for rambling.
Okay, so thank you for letting you speak without interrupting. Okay, yes, I accept that all the time. I went and had dinner on Saturday with a good old friend, and he thought that I was going to argue with him when he said he's not taking the vaccine, and I said, okay, well, please tell me why. Because I'm not going to try to change your mind. And at first he was like, well, you can't. And I was like, well, relax. I just want to hear your point of view, and then I won't even reply. I'll just listen. And so I listened, and then I tried to change the subject. So there you go. Maybe you should just open your ears and listen once in a while. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I
no
might get
issue
sick.
with people
I can still very easily get sick. But I think that by now I should have been exposed to it many times. And my work, so many times they post an email saying, so-and-so is sick, don't come in. You know, it's like, if you've been exposed to Mr. So-and-so, it's like, oh my God, this is crazy. So I drive in Ubers, I go to 7-Eleven, you know.
What were you going to say, Randy?
Right now, I've been exposed to it.
What were you going to say,
My
Randy?
youngest son tested positive. He lives with us. My wife
I've been
and I-
tested twice and both times negative.
Well, yeah, it doesn't affect everybody the same, so that's good.
And you know, and people that get the shots, and because I will not call them a vaccine, I will call them shots. That's their choice, and I have no problem with them choosing to do what they want to do. I'm on the opposite side. I just choose not to.
If I have to do it to keep my job, that's a hard one. I want to do it.
I worked for a public utility with people, and they already said that they will never try to force us to do it.
It's a weird world.
DNR has offered us to be able to go get it done, and if anybody wanted to do it, they could go do it. But everybody decided not to.
Would you feel differently if they knew, or if they had, this is just, they don't have this, so I'm just putting it on a philosophical point. So, would you feel different if they had contract tracing that was like obvious, like GPS, and you were carrying it but you had no symptoms, and your mom said, come on over? Would you go ahead and go over and possibly expose her to the COVID?
Well, my mom has chosen to get the shots.
Well, I mean, okay, but I mean, if she was like you, or should I say, if she felt the same way about the shots, would you be like,
Well,
I'm just, you
this
know,
is the thing with my mother. My mother is high risk,
okay,
and she's chose that I need to stay away from a lot of people because of this. So it's been limited time with my mother.
so
And-
what, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So that's her choice, and I'm okay with that. That's a decision that she had to make, and I have to be okay with her making that decision.
Sure. So would it be not too far of a stretch to think that if you thought you could give it to her, you would take one for the team, or you would just not visit?
I never even thought about me getting it.
It's just
spreading it, none of that.
it's just a what do you call hypothetical? I'm not.
Hypothetical.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put you in some kind of gotcha question. I'm just wondering. That's all. Because if you were to, and you know what, if you were to say, well, I'm just not getting it, and to be consistent, then I won't visit my mother either. I'd be like, hey, at least you're consistent. That's awesome. You know. So believe me, I can see the logic no matter which way you go. As long as you're consistent, then we know what we're dealing with. You know what I mean? The problem is when you have hypocritical, inconsistent people that are like, well, I'm not getting it because I know other people are getting it, and herd immunity will make it to where I don't have to get it. Now those fuckers can kiss my ass because they're fucking doing welfare. They're going off the backs of my fucking sore arm.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's just a whole other point.
They're also the ones collecting the stimulus checks and not working.
Well, I mean, I'm working, so guess what? I took that fucking check and put it away.
We argued about it. I don't need the check.
No, I don't need it either, but I mean, how many times do we complain about how they spend our tax dollars? So I guess
I needed it. I was very thankful for it.
So that's what we did.
Stuck in a bad situation.
theoretically, Randy, you could take it and then put it in some kind of thing for your grandkid, and then that wouldn't be you benefiting. That would be somebody that can't make any money yet. You know, because you got little ones, right? The little dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's perfectly reasonable. If the government wants to help you out with the kids' college fund or whatever, there you go. Then there's no guilt involved. It's like, I'm not a socialist, but how about you give me that money anyway?
Or I could go to the redneck.
Hey, ammunition might not be a good investment, but guns are. So, hey, buy all them guns you can. Okay.
I just want to say one thing. Late at night in my room, when it's dark, completely dark, I can see the little blinky light where I've been vaccinated.
All right. Well, I'm good with that. Let's close this.
Hey, Todd, really quick before we get started.
Yes.
I'm looking into a wireless headset with a mic so I can carry it around at work with me and I can participate. But I think it's going to be a couple weeks maybe before I can get it to come in.
I've got this
The problem
one
is
that's...
me finding one that lasts through the whole gaming session.
Yeah, plus, Dan, those microphones are very sensitive. You still have to turn it off and on.
Have the tap to talk
Well,
on it. Yeah.
but
Well, Dan, let's put it this way. If you can pull that off, that'd be pretty impressive because it sounds like you're working in a loud atmosphere.
Well, it's not necessarily loud directly all the time. Like at night, it's a lot quieter than it is during the day.
All right, let's get some game music here before we enter into the recap. Did anyone give any thought to what they did last week, and did they have anything that they wanted to say about it before we start?
Were my drawings accurate? Is my question.
No.
Okay.
He didn't choke me to death. He put the strong arm
Yeah,
in the
you
sleep.
know I don't like to nitpick your art because I know that you're doing it for free. So with that in mind, may I nitpick?
He just asked you.
Jason, with that in mind, may I nitpick?
Man, yes, of course.
Okay, so let's start with Reginald getting his throat ripped out. Okay, so I thought it was neat that you had the monk's fingernails long, but I didn't really picture him that way. I pictured him doing the thing like the guy did on Roadhouse, where he went in and ripped his larynx out like that. So the chop, that's fine. It gets the point across. The second one was
Remember, I was doing these on the fly at work.
Yeah, that's why.
That's my excuse.
That's why I'm not, gonna motherfuck you because I know it's all extra jam. So the second one on Shadrach, if I remember right, he did an uppercut on you and it wasn't a kick. So, whatever. He kicks most of the time. That's fine.
He didn't kick you in the face when you were on the ground.
I did like the teeth flying out. That was a nice touch. And then lastly, do you know what a rear naked choke is in mixed martial arts?
Let me explain the drawing.
Okay.
Let me explain.
Okay.
His fingers were choking him, like grabbing the arteries, but his thumbs were breaking his neck from the back. That was my perception.
Okay.
They were breaking, his thumbs were driving into his vertebrae, while his fingers were crushing his arteries in his neck. So that was my perception.
Always nice to see a drawing of one of Sean's characters being brutally murdered, but
Wrong.
just to nitpick, what a rear naked choke is when the guy's got his arm around his neck like this, and so he just
the sleeper hold.
And it shuts off the carotid arteries, and then he goes.
Yeah, well, if you just said a choke out, I would have got it. I didn't get that.
Did you not see Cobb? You know what?
Okay, that's
the
cool.
picture might not have been on you. It might have been on the map. Cobb was standing up here doing it the whole time.
The reverse choke. I pictured a guy getting choked from behind.
Yeah, that's
from the standard.
Like I said, I'm not
from behind.
I'm not gonna nitpick your art. There's no way, because my idea of art is drawing a sandwich and somebody saying who's riding the mule. So I'm just not gonna do that.
I will though. You got it wrong and you sucked. There was no crackling noises of the neck breaking. He wasn't breaking my neck.
You're dead.
My neck's 100% intact. That wasn't what he did to me.
Crick.
Cack. Crack.
It was a 3d20 sleep roll to death.
Okay, so let's do a recap.
Sorry.
So how much damage was that? Was that like 100 points of damage?
There was no damage rolled. There was no damage given. I think it was just given that I was gone. Never gave me any damage.
No, because
Was that 100 points of damage?
he was stunned. So
That's true.
Anything but a 1, I think, or I mean, yeah.
He had his way with us.
With his ability to, with his THAC0 and the +4 bonus from being stunned, it was basically anything but a 1. And then he rolled 3 20s in a row. And if you roll a 20 and then you roll another 20, that's double. And if you roll another 20, that's triple. And it's on a hold that's maintained. That shit adds up. So.
And it's an automatic crit.
So anyway, okay, so this is episode 26 of The World of Skell-Ghosts. And so far, the group found themselves in combat with the minions of Bazan and Latonius appearing near the very end up on the guardhouse, yelling down, "How about that for a distraction?" And the minions and the soldiers kept fighting, and some of the minions were defeated, but then Latonius came down off of
his high horse.
the building and went inside. And you guys had known that that's where the prior and his assistants had gone. And before anybody could get over there to do anything about it, even if they were going to, everyone was pretty much engaged. The Latonius came out and was like, "Take me to the horn," and the prior was like, "No!" And that's when COVID decided he would take off running from the battle conspicuously.
Indeed.
And the Latonius was like, "What the fuck's that all about?" So he decided to follow him. And COVID got the backpack out of the secret stash in the old abbot's desk. And Latonius got in there and saw him with the bag. And COVID was off to the races, and Latonius was in hot pursuit. Meanwhile, the others had
Get bitch slapped.
kind of seen a little bit of that. Pick and Reginald had come around finally and taken a look at it. And COVID ran off, and Latonius was in hot pursuit. After a short time, Latonius, his rage started to build, and he decided someone was going to have to suffer because, well, these motherfuckers weren't doing what he wanted. So he decided to go back and take out his rage upon COVID's friends, and he let him know that it was all his fault. COVID decided, well, maybe I shouldn't do that, so he came back then. And as Latonius started smacking around Reginald and Shadrach and Tamark, the minions of Bazan that were left...
No, Tamark was already out.
So was Shadrach. It was Pick and Reginald.
Okay. The minions of Bazan curiously left the area that were still able to move, just a couple of them. And Latonius came back and told them, well, it's just a beating, fellas, and proceeded to start smacking Pick and Reginald around. You have something?
Yeah, the minions of Bazan left before he came out with the abbot. Because when I went to the room, there was nothing left to fight. They had already either died or disappeared.
You didn't see the ones behind here.
When I went that direction, you said there was nobody to be seen. Because I asked where they were.
Well, I don't remember, but that's fine. It doesn't change the narrative.
I mean, they were around the corner. I didn't see them, but they weren't down in the alley.
So, COVID came back saying, here, he had the backpack, and the horn was in it, and the backpack was, some kind of trap was put on it by Shadrach. If the thing was opened without saying the secret password, that something would happen. I wasn't really sure. I assumed it would, like, explode or something. So, COVID tossed the backpack, and the monk went to open it, and it went off on him because he didn't know the password, and he took the damage, which enraged him even further. And he proceeded to... He was expecting COVID to fight him. Here's this big-time Acarian gladiatorial champion. But the fight never materialized, and the monk creature just basically stunned COVID and put a few beatings on him, and then the 1 in 8,000 roll of 3 natural 20s was enough to allow the stunned COVID to be choked out and mercilessly murdered by Latonius, who was so enraged because he couldn't find the horn. And then some time passed because everyone was either knocked out or what have you. And Reginald had run off by this time. I forgot what caused him to run off, but he ran away. Reginald ran away.
Wasn't it because you were bleeding from the throat?
I had my throat crushed and all my friends were down, and I decided that all was lost.
So
I had to flee.
Approximately 2 days later, as I had just watched the ending of the game, and so that is exactly what I said, the Tamark and Pick and Shadrach all woke one day and had a conversation with the prior. Prior was asking what happened. There wasn't anybody around that knew, and the Shadrach and Pick and Tamark weren't really given very good answers. They were just, we don't know what happened, we can't remember, we got our asses kicked. So something was mentioned about Latonius was looking for the horn, and they thought maybe COVID had it because they saw him with the backpack. So Shadrach demanded to see COVID's corpse. So those 3 were helped by some monks down to the cool area of the root cellar under the east wall of the temple. And down there was certainly COVID deceased, still in his battle armor, but somewhat touched up in the face. And his armor's still there, and his quiver's still there. Shadrach cast a spell, and he sensed magic somewhere around. And if I remember right, let me just make sure I was doing that spell right, because I had told you that it was coming from a specific place, but that sounds like
It was Orison. It was that personal Orison magic sense.
It sounds like a little too specific just for an Orison. But it might say that.
I agree. I think it just says in a general area.
Oh, within
Which
time.
I'm
Okay, so what
anyway.
what I should have said is yes, there is a persistent magical effect within 10 yards of the priest. That's what I should have said, but instead I gave you too much information and revealed that it was coming from the
Instead of
quiver.
giving me too much information, I was already perceiving that. So,
And I don't think that that's wrong, because you had mentioned that COVID had said something, or you had deduced that the quiver did do something. I'm not sure if you guys ever saw him draw things out of it or put anything in it. I don't remember.
I think they
He told them that was his idea.
Concerned, that
Oh.
reaffirmed his perception of it.
Okay, so the pick, he was asked to take the quiver. I know, Pick, you detached it, but it wasn't specifically said if you took it with you out of the thing or not. So did you or did you not?
Yeah, because I did, because I didn't know, I know that COVID could do stuff and put extra stuff in there. I just don't know how it works.
Okay, so what was described was that you looked inside of the quiver and it appeared empty. And that's the only information that I remember seeing from the video from last week. So if you choose to do or not do anything else to the quiver, you'll have to let me know. Okay. And then you all were, and then Shadrach kind of looked at the body and using his knowledge, nothing looked like obviously weird, like poison or something, that COVID appeared to have died some other way. Okay, you have Shadrach, or you had your hand up?
First of all, have I had a chance to pray since I got my face kicked in?
No. I know we said, I said that like 2 weeks go by and you get nursed back to health, but I'm going to amend that because I know you were being given the option of speaking with the dead in the morning of the next day, and then at some point in the next day they were going to have to decide how they wanted to dispose of the body, because it was, you can't just leave a dead body in the root cellar forever. So unless someone has some type of ability to keep it, unless someone has some,
I wasn't like dead or anything. I was just stoned for like a day or something.
unless someone has the ability to keep a corpse from decomposing, which that is technically what the embalmers and the mortician would do, then that shit's gonna have to move along. So anyway, and that is where we stopped. So Tamark, you were asked if you could try to find Reginald by tracking him, and you were like, yeah, I can try. I don't know how difficult it's going to be, but I can try.
pretty good blood trail.
So,
Yep.
Should lead right to the body.
as we pick up the next morning, those of you that are in the monk's care, you should get back 10 hit points over those 3 nights of being tended to. Reginald, unfortunately, you don't get any, and we will come to you here in a second. So, and then Shadrach, you also feel as though you've when you begin to pray in the morning to try to refill your mana, you realize that through this trial that you've lived through, your goddess, the mother goddess, Gaia, Binaurial, the Green Man, who knows who, apparently they have decided that you are worthy, and you realize that you have access to another spell or two, not level, but, and I will be sending you your sheet here in a second. And on that, your non-weapon proficiencies have been updated, so that will be on there as well. Everyone else's is still the same. for now. Okay. So, Reginald, you leave the Abbey. And if I remember correctly, you had a destination in mind. But
I did.
you are bleeding horribly from your neck. You suffered a cold shot, and in the time that you're running, you realize that you're starting to bleed out. You're losing 2 hit points every round. What do you do? And this was my bad for not telling you this last week. So just, I know you wrote that thing, but obviously you can't get anywhere if you're going, so.
Okay, I didn't understand that he was actually cut open and bleeding. I thought that it was like a punch or a grasp, a choking grasp that crushed his throat. I didn't realize it was an open wound.
Well, any called shot that hits, you're gonna bleed for at least 1. The follow-up was a hit, if I remember correctly, so that means it went to a critical, but I rolled low on the damage, if I remember right. I was a little disappointed. So you have the effect of the not being able to, like, you know, your fucking throat's ripped out or snapped or whatever. And the damage is, if you don't want to bleed on the outside, then you bleed on the inside. So that's, you're coughing up blood.
Yeah, I will, when I realize this, I will turn around and return to the inn.
Okay. So, on this
If
day...
I don't pass out first.
Right. Okay, so on this day, so what happens is you're like, you stop and you're like, oh fuck, you had all these dreams of like, if I can get to such and such, and if I can do this, and then you realize the pain and the agony, and you pull your hand off your throat and it's covered in blood, and you spit up and there's like a fountain goes out in front of you, and you're like, oh fuck, and you start to go back, and as you look off up at the monastery, you falter and you don't think you're going to make it, and you try, and then you just collapse in a pool of your own blood.
What?
Luckily for you, there's people around, because you're in a village, and they see
Hooray.
They see you, and they're like, oh no, it's that cute guy that used to play songs, and now he looks all fucked up. Let's get him to the monks. Or if you were awake to hear it, maybe you would have, but so you awaken after a couple days as well. And after 3 days, you have 10 hit points. And as
I have 10.
You have 10.
Okay, because I already had 9.
Yeah, for you to pass out like that, you'd have to be at 0.
Okay.
So, first thing you do is you put your hand up and you feel your throat is bandaged, and like the gauze is moist, and you pull your hand back and it's like red, and you're like, oh boy, but then when you try to speak, you try to go, oh boy, and it's like, and it hurts, and you're like, ah! And you scream out, and it hurts even more, and you just, and you think to yourself, I might never sing again. You don't know. You don't know the extent of the damage. It was bad.
Curse you, notorious, in my mind.
Short time later, one of the monks opens the door and looks in at you, apparently hearing this cry of agony, and he looks at you and he kind of motions like he has his hand, and can you see me on your screen?
Yes.
Okay, and he's got like, he looks around and he goes to the corner and he grabs a cup, and then there's a little wooden pitcher there, and he pours it out, looks like water into a cup, and he comes over and he kind of gently
I sip.
helps you, and you drink it, and at first it kind of feels not that great, but it's, you felt worse, and the idea of swallowing right now seemed like a good idea until you swallowed all the blood that was pooling in there, and you just kind of start to, and he helps you like over to the side, and you vomit, and the floor is just covered in blood and stomach bile and just awfulness, and it's just, he's like patting you on the back, and then after you're done, he kind of lays you back, and you feel a little better actually, and he kind of checks you, and then gives you a tiny little bit of water, and then walks back, and as you lay back,
I take his hand and I rub his hand. I try to whisper, "Thank you."
He just nods and then exits, and just as you're like leaning back and you're thinking, oh, I actually am tired, but I like, after you throw up, you feel a little better for a second. You're just starting to fall asleep. The door opens up, and this very tall female, like, she's got to be the tallest female you've ever seen, but she's got kind of like a face covering, and so you can just kind of see her eyes, and it's almost like she's, I don't know, she's got unusual features, but you can't really tell under the face covering. And she kind of just smiles, and she's got a bucket, and she goes over and starts cleaning up the floor. And you notice that she's got like a feminine figure, but it's hidden by the loose monk robe, and nothing sexual about her at all, no makeup. But then you also notice that she's got these huge hands like Ric Flair's, and you're just like, what the fuck? And she does her job, and then she kind of nods at you and has to duck as she goes out under the door and leaves.
I try to smile.
Yes, Shadrach.
I was literally watching old Wrestling at the Chase with Ric Flair from like 1983 or something like that, like yesterday. That's hilarious to say hands like Ric Flair.
Oh, he's got like, I don't know, I've seen him, man. His hands are huge. Like when he makes a fist, it's like, God damn, why do you have such big hands?
No, really, you're right.
It's weird.
Ken Patera and Ric Flair had huge hands.
Just one of them weird things. Okay, so, this day you hear someone kind of moving about in a couple doors down, and you swear you hear Shadrach's voice, and then you hear Pick's voice as you can hear him saying, well, are we going to go do this? And yeah, I just finished my prayers and I'm ready. And if you want to try to do something or whatever, you can, or
Do
not.
I have strength to stand?
You do.
I walk to the doorway and step out into the hall.
Okay, you see the prior's there with 2 assistants and 2 other assistants. And then you see the door open a little further down the hall, and Tamar kind of pops his head out. And you see Pick and Shadrach in the hallway. And you guys all see Reginald there with his throat, like it's all bandaged up and red. And the prior is like, hey, he needs to be tended to. Look at those bandages. And one of the assistants moves to start preparing to.
Chad even starts to walk toward him. It's like, I thought you were lost, brother.
He appears to be.
I can't speak.
He appears
Is
to be.
that correct?
Let me give you the exact thing. You, okay, so let me see. You suffered, yeah, it wasn't a lot of hit points. I remember that. So, according to, okay, so you had the critical. Yeah, okay. So, with critical, hold on here. Oh, okay, there it is. Okay. So you didn't fail the system shock roll that I had you roll. Oh, no. I had you roll the chance to... Okay. So, Daryl, I need you to make a system shock roll. Because that... You did not do that.
80%.
And what is your system shock percentage on your constitution?
It is 97.
Okay, so that's good. So you didn't have your throat ripped out completely, and the loss of verbal communication is not permanent. So I would like, okay, I need you to roll 2d4 and just give me a total.
7.
Okay. So as it stands right now, Daryl, you have, because of the overall uncomfortableness and damage that you took to your throat, you have a -3 to hit and damage, which I may have already told you that, and verbal abilities lost. And that is for 7 weeks. Now, with magical, I'll just read you what I wrote like 30 years ago for my thing here. For every 2 points of curative magic, 1 day is removed from the duration of the wound. However, if the wound is permanent, then other magic or skills must be used. So, they have not done anything magical to any of you at this time. So that is where that's your status for the time being.
So am I able to utter a whisper, or can I not speak at all?
If you try to talk, it just comes out like that.
Okay, so as Shadrach approaches, I just hold my throat and you see a tear coming out of his eye. And he's just shaking his head.
The prior says, I'm sorry, go ahead, try, if you want to communicate with your friend, you can try. I would like his bandages to be changed though, and then if you all would like to fill him in on what you saw in private, you can. We don't have to do this now, Shadrach. We can delay, but I'm telling you, the corpse needs to be dealt with today, whatever choice you make. So, and then Reggie's like doing whatever he's doing. So
I'm waving my hand like go ahead, and I begin to walk back to my room.
Well, Reggie, I don't think you know that COVID's dead. So when he said corpse, you may or may not know who he's talking about.
Yeah, I don't know who he's talking about. I'm just like, if there's something you need to do,
okay,
but I can't speak.
Okay, all right. So if Pick or Shadrach or Tamark want to interact in the hallway right now, now would be your time.
COVID's dead.
And I'm going to get a glass of water, so please, gentlemen, take over. And Daryl, you might have to explain if they can't see what motions you're making or whatever. I don't know what they can see.
I see.
Yeah, just understand that he can't speak. You gather that much.
Yeah,
Do you think you can do for him?
I need to go to the grove and pray. I need to pray. I need to pray, but I need to pray over COVID's body, and I need him to protect me. And keep everyone else away.
I lean
tomorrow.
against the wall and just shake my head.
And you, Reginald, after I deal with COVID, I'll deal with you. I'll restore your voice. But I have to deal with COVID first. We have to find the horn.
I've looked around. Do I see anybody near us?
The friar guy and 2 assistants were there. That just
I
one
don't talk
said,
about the horn until we're in private.
I'd have to sleep. I'd have to pray. I have to talk to COVID's fuck. I have to talk to COVID's spirit, but I have to pray for him.
I saw that thing about Kate on Facebook you posted. That's awesome, dude. Yeah.
Well, I thought this was the morning after you'd already slept. You just need to pray.
Tomorrow morning I can deal with it, but I have to sleep and pray.
No, Jason, you
No.
you prayed this morning. This is after your prayers.
Okay. All right. Well then,
Oh,
I can send
hold
you
on.
a spell list.
Hold on. You've been good all last level with your spells, so you realize this morning you do have spontaneous casting return. So what that means is if you abuse it again and you become the battery of the party, your god's going to be like, motherfucker, I just slapped you on one side, now I got to slap you on the other side? You understand? It's not the druid's job to be the fucking healer. So, you've been warned, motherfucker. Proceed with caution. That's what the green man's doing. He's getting ready to rump range you, and you're like, no, I get it, boss.
Chad tells everyone, I have to go spend the day in prayer. I have to.
I turn and go back to my room.
Okay. All right, so you are followed by one of the monks, and they proceed to do their job.
Well, he asked me to guard him while he prayed, so I will, as best as I can.
Guard Shadrach?
Yeah.
If you
Okay.
haven't seen the picture of my eye looks green with a red pupil and a red circle. And Chad was, and one side of his face was all bruised and kind of scarred where the fish got him. That's the same place where Antonius punched him. Chad was kind of rough. So if you want to guard me, that's fine. He doesn't even notice you.
So the prior's like,
Unless you say something.
the prior says, are we going to communicate with the dead now? Now would be the time.
The sun must go down first. The moon must rise. And then I will speak for the dead. Leave me!
He makes that shit up. That's his flavor. That's not actually what it says.
So at moonrise, Chad will go down to the body of Covidius and do, I have a couple spells I want to cast, but it won't be until after sundown and moonrise.
Okay, the prior has made it. The prior's made it very clear. You need to do that this morning. If you're unable to do so, then we will just prepare the body to be burned, and that'll be that. If you want to talk to, if it doesn't matter, then we're going to prepare, and you can come back when his body's on the funeral pyre.
I claim his body, leave it alone.
He looks at you and he says, make a charisma check.
Oh dear.
Randy likes that one.
Ooh, done.
Okay. He says, well, you've already said he has no next of kin. You can't claim what is not yours, but we will not burn the corpse until either 1 hour after sundown or you are finished, like before then. Have I made
1 hour after sundown, you may do what you wish.
Well, we're gonna take him to the morticians, and he's gonna be prepared. So
1 hour after sundown, you will.
no, that's happening now. We're not gonna let a fucking corpse rot in the fucking root cellar. As a priest of the forest, you should know how things decompose. Or did you skip that fucking class? And he looks like he's starting to get pissed off. He's like, your prior service notwithstanding, we're not...
Lay his body out now then. Let it be now.
He turns and he just kind of does a flip with his hand and turns, and his two assistants go off with him, leaving you all in the hallway. What do you do?
Time, you fools.
Go ahead, Tamar.
So why do you have to wait till the night this time? I thought you did this in the morning last time.
I want to prepare. I want to pray. This is so fast. So much.
Well, yeah, everything's just gone to shit. I mean...
Let it be now. Fine. So be it.
So, you need me to go get Pittman, or...
You three are in the you three are in the hallway of the infirmary right now. You're all by yourselves.
If Reginald wants to join us,
Here, let me ask Reginald if he wants to come with us, and I'll help him along.
I'd like us all to be together, quite honestly.
Right. So I go to the door, I see Reginald go in, and I'm going to knock on it.
Reginald, there's a knock on your door.
Reginald!
I lie there and let the dude change my bandages.
Okay. Well, there's somebody in there moving around, Tamar, but apparently no one's answering the door.
I'm going to try to open the door. Is it locked or unlocked?
It opens, and you see what I previously described, a monk performing his duties on an injured person.
Reginald, raise your hand if you would like to come with us to COVID for the speaking with of the spirit after he's finished with your bandages.
I lower my hand next to the bed and let it hang down by the floor.
You notice the monk does not turn around, but he looks at the hand that just was lowered, and he kind of turns his head around and kind of just looks at you blankly, Tamar, before turning around and continuing with his task. And as you're standing there, you see you hear the slopping of wet gauze into a bucket, and you look and you see Reginald's throat, and it appears as though somebody stuck a crowbar behind his larynx and fractured his grunt hole.
Whoa! Holy fuck!
Then the monk turns around and he's got a mad look. And he points to the door, points to you and points to the door and tries to shush you out. Okay.
I'll let you know what it said, and I close the door.
Okay.
And I come back, and I'm like, yeah, he can't. Look, the part of his throat's like fucking been ripped apart. I mean, dude, that's worse than when I got my fucking face attacked by the fucking wolf.
Chad looks like the kind of person on an airplane, air sick, and running from the toilet with his phone outside. That's what he looks like.
I guess you ready for this pick? Yes? No? Maybe?
Are you talking to me? I can barely hear you.
Oh, I said pick. I said, are you ready for this pick? Alright, let's go follow Shag then.
All right, Shadrach, do you head up?
Man, you call me Shag. Oh.
Do you do anything before you head to the root cellar? Be aware that you all are still wearing the comfortable clothes, the robes that the druids have you in. The not robes, but like they're like long t-shirts basically. They're just to give you covering and keep the chill off your ass, and when you flip over on the cot or on the straw mattress. So do any of you do anything different or change anything? So we'll start with pick. Do you do, or do you go wearing your, what do you do?
I'll put on my common clothes.
Okay. All right. So you try to make yourself look presentable.
Yes.
Very good. Okay. And then how about you, Tamar? Do you do anything different?
Oh, if he can go put his armor clothes on, I will too, just because.
Okay. And last, Shadrach.
As I said, Shadrach, like an airsick person on a plane, busts out the door to get outside, and as soon as he's outside, he pulls off the robes and just rips them off, just pulls them off.
Okay. So you're going somewhere naked? Can't hear you.
Let's just say I strip down to my waist.
Okay, well, all right, so you tear at the shirt and then you fashion it, or you tie the sleeves around your waist. So that's what you got, like a half shirt hanging from your hips.
Kind of like the picture of me when I'm standing over the proctor's body. I'm stripped down to the waist. Yeah.
All right, so you all three head
So
up.
having seen that, I look at him and like, is it his birthday today? Is you in your birthday suit?
Shadrach,
My legs are covered.
Shadrach appears confused at that, Tamar. Apparently you suck at telling jokes. So, you all three head over to the root cellar. Okay. Before we get to the root cellar, we go to COVID. COVID. The last thing you remember is going to sleep. And whatever last thoughts that you had at that moment, there were no last words because you were stunned, and then you were your throat was being crushed, and you've seen this done before. There's almost nothing you haven't seen before in the ways of killing. But you never thought that you would be choked out like that. You never really gave a thought at all about how you would die. It just wasn't something that you thought would ever happen, really. You were the champion. You were good at your job. You know, business, what is it? Killing is business, and business was good. And so you almost couldn't believe it. You were like, well, I'm just going to wake up. Something will happen. And you find yourself waking up, and you're like, oh, but who took my clothes? Why am I wearing this red and black toga? I'm not a member of the proletariat. I'm not a senator. I'm a gladiator and a soldier, and I would wear homespun togas or clothes because high fashion isn't something that's necessary, and it's certainly not your dress, your uniform for whenever you would take part in a tribute for a great campaign hat or a victory in a gladiatorial tournament. So that seems kind of odd. Who would have changed you? And then you see off in the distance a mist, and out of the mist forms woods that look very familiar, like woods that you remember making a camp in back in Ekarima. And you see a deer and a rabbit and just the forest creatures. And then stepping out from behind a tree, you see a beautiful dark-haired woman. And you know instinctively that is Nemesis and that you have been defeated and you are in the afterlife. You don't have to be a religious person. You don't have to be a whatever. You just know. And she looks at you. What do you do?
Drop to my knees and almost in a disbelief that this is real, that I'm actually dead. Beg her forgiveness for not being able to complete the task she put me there for.
Within an instant, it appears as though she is right next to you, standing as you are. I don't remember what did you say? You were kneeling?
Drop to my knees.
Okay. So when you look down and you say what you said, and then as soon as you look up, she's standing right there in front of you. And she says, I think my paper's downstairs. Hold on. We pause for this commercial break.
So Randy,
I'm still prepared.
Randy, did you get your water line break taken care of?
Yeah, we didn't get done with it until after 7 o'clock that night.
Yeah. You say you go on. You're gonna be on call next week and the week after. Is that correct?
Yeah, the young kid that works with us, they just had a baby, so he was supposed to start on call tomorrow, and he's taking off for the new birth. So I'm taking his on call, and then the following Friday starts my on call. So I'll have it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, a friend of mine's daughter just went into labor. She's only 29 weeks with twins, and they actually sent her to St. Mary's because apparently they have the specialist for preemies at that particular hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So, no word.
That's a little early.
Yeah. I figured they've been fighting each other on who's gonna come out first, and one of them stuck their foot through the opening and hoped to get pulled out first. They said that she was dilated enough that you could see like a foot there. So who knows? I'm still waiting to hear what's going on.
All that stuff that goes on, it's a miracle of life.
I can't believe all the specialists are at St. Mary's. You'd think they'd be out at St. John's,
Yeah. And Randy, on a different note, you can dig a lot. You're digging into the dirt. You never find any fossils. Because I know there's got to be a bunch of them there. Because I know.
We found arrowheads, pieces of arrowheads. My wife loves rocks, so I've got a yard full of them that's got the quartz and crystals in them, and there's other ones that got shapes in them. So we find a lot of stuff.
I mean, there's all that, there's so much there. I know from my experience, because they dug a highway behind my house, and all the stuff we found was like, oh my God. And the bones, and like you said, the crystals. We found quartz was like chunks of lead and fool's gold and stuff like that. And I was just wondering if you found any like mastodon bones. But like the arrowheads, no. The arrowheads is very important because that's like from, those are early arrowheads. Those are like from like 1,000 years ago and stuff. So I'm hip on that. I follow that very closely.
Yeah, nothing for bones wise though, no.
See, a lot of that, and you know where Mastodon Park is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot over there, and it's by the river, and that's the truth of it. It's right there next to the river, but inland still, there's a lot of Indian stuff. There's a lot of, like you said, the arrowheads, the rocks, the fossils. There's fossils all over the place in there. So, yeah. That's why I was curious about that, if you found any bones, especially bones. Because if you find a mastodon bone, you'll be in the paper.
Yeah, nothing like that.
You might. You still just might. You just might. There's always that possibility.
It would be cool.
All right. So,
I mean, that whole area was like a glacier area. And there was lots of early Americans there. When I say early Americans, like the Mastodon Park, they hunted mastodons. So that's tens of thousands of years ago. So, yeah.
all right. So,
Sorry.
she cups your chin with her hand, pulling your face up to meet her gaze. She says, "Why did you call my name?"
At the time, you're all I thought of. You're the reason I'm here, or there. I didn't necessarily think my time was at an end, but I don't know. It seemed like the right thing to do.
Why did you not use your strengths?
This adversary is far too powerful. I was trying a different tactic. It didn't work.
Had you fought this adversary? Had it defeated you before?
Yes. It took out the entire group before.
I don't care about the entire group.
It has defeated me before. If it was not for a creature called a Chiron, I fear I would have been dead by this creature's hand once before.
So this was the first time it defeated you.
To the death, yes.
Is there any other kind of defeat? For a goddess of retribution?
I didn't win the first time I fought it, so
You win by surviving.
you're correct.
Have I made a poor choice?
No. I've given you my all. I've given you enough.
When it comes time for a warrior to fight, he should fight. Even if it is to the death. You chose what you thought would keep you alive.
Ultimately, yes. And I was trying to save the life of those I was trying to protect. I failed at that as well.
Who's more important, your goddess or anything else?
Only you.
Can you give me one good reason why I can expect different if you are to ever end up back amongst the living? Because so far, you must do a lot to make up for that.
I guess I got too comfortable not being in the military, being around these softer individuals. I've lost my goal, and I fell for what I thought I should. I fell off my track.
Does this have anything to do with Rise's departure?
Sure, it has something to do with that. I feel I failed him as well.
The goddess of retribution and revenge doesn't have the same feelings, and if you carry those with you, you will not succeed. Also, why would you renounce your allegiance to your homeland over a petty political issue? That's not what revenge is all about.
You know where I came from. And for them to do to others what I was originally saved from is not right. I can't live with myself being thought of as a slaver when I did just the opposite. It's not right. If I could stop it, I would.
Why do you think you were sent there to begin with?
I don't know. I pray to you every day for guidance. I try to do the things that we come across. I try to deal with them as best I can. I feel we've defeated things that should have been defeated. This one creature is...
You do not have to go through the litany of your achievements.
Yes, ma'am. You're right. Yes, my God.
To renounce your allegiance to your homeland means you don't know who you are. You can be of a homeland and disagree with things that happen. For instance, those that decided to eliminate you and Rise disagreed with the political situation. Yet they embraced their homeland. And they did something about it. They didn't cower and beg for their lives. So, I'll ask you again. What assurances do I have that if you were... Shut that bird up!
Sorry.
If you were to ever end up back in the land of the living, will you beg for forgiveness and prostrate yourself in front of something you think is more powerful, just so you can live and avoid the honor of serving that you claim to?
No. Our little meeting has sharpened my focus. I've regained what I've lost, and I can only prove it to you.
Yes, your words. You have words. you certainly seek the expedient path, and you will need to prove yourself. But you only get one more chance. Because I am a fickle goddess of revenge, and I will take revenge on you should you disappoint me again.
Yes, I guess.
So the next time you call out my name, don't do it when you look your weakest, because it's embarrassing. Do it when you're at your strongest, so I may help guide your hand and your blade. That is what I am interested in, and that is who I wish to support, and that is who I send to do my bidding. Not care for some child of another faith. I have given you all you need to enact retribution. If you choose to go back, do not fail me a second time. And then that whole mist just kind of comes up. And you wander around in the mist until, who knows? Okay. Now we shift to the root cellar. Shadrach and Tamar and Pick are there, along with the prior and 2 of his assistants. And the prior looks up and says, "Did you change your mind, or are you here to try to tell me how to do my job?"
All I need is some incense.
He looks over at one of his assistants who provides you with incense.
I will begin the ceremony. I will, as I did before, walk around the corpse multiple times after the incense has been lit. And then, after I've done the preparation as I had done before, I will lean down, embrace the corpse, and lean it slightly forward, holding it, and begin to ask my questions.
Okay, now remember, your power has grown. So I think that means, do you get a third question?
Okay.
Look up the spell, speak with Dad if you can.
I have done it before. I didn't know if you sent me anything yet, but I can look it up. But I got it standing by here.
What level is it? 7? 6?
6.
It's the same. 1 through 7 is the
I
same.
have basically.
It's just 2 questions?
I basically have about 20 minutes per question to get an answer. So I have about an hour to ask 3 questions.
Well, hold on now. Sean's saying it might still be 2.
It's still just 2. You have, between 1st and 7th level, you have to do this within 1 week of the...
I figured it's just 2 questions.
All right.
Within 1 week,
but I
you
can
have...
ask it.
It
I
takes
can
you
ask
1 round.
twice.
My bad.
So, okay, I'm hip. I have a plan.
And the conversation, maximum length time dead to converse with is 1 round, and you get 2 questions.
So I get 10 minutes to ask 2 questions.
What it says.
So, as I expressed before, I lift his corpse and embrace him, holding him to me, and whisper in the corpse's ear to myself and to him, "Brother, where's the horn?"
You may do it, Cub.
If you want to write it and send it to me in a text, that'd be the best thing.
Sean's gonna answer, so however you want to answer is up to you, Sean.
Okay.
Just so long as it fits the description of the spell, that's all I care about.
It is with the goddess Nemesis.
How can I retrieve the horn, brother?
You must use the quiver.
Shadrach will now suddenly just look at the ceiling and shriek and throw his arms in the air, run around the corpse 2 more times after he drops it down, then, placing his hands on it like he's kneading dough, he will now cast a secondary spell, Cobb, called Trance. It takes me around to cast it. It is a first level spell. And then I'm going to cast Speak with Dead again after I cast Trance.
What are the components of trance?
The components of Trance are... Oh no, it jumped. Hang on, my thing moved a couple things. Hang on. I got 3 different pages of spells here. Alright, hang on.
You know that app that I got that gives me the priest and magic
Not
spells?
water walk,
It's not
damn
available
it.
anymore. But since I have it, I never lose it. Strange.
Trance takes a round to cast, so let me get that one out the way right now. It takes a whole round to cast.
What does trance do?
Well, hold on.
I gotta tell you right now, I just found it. Hang on.
Just give me the components first.
Hang on! I got all these things to look at.
I don't think that's
Not
basic.
cracking. Okay. Verbal and somatic. With this spell, the Shukenjinka, which is all these things together. Enters a deep trance during which he cannot move, speak, or take any action. While in the trance, the priest or whatever is highly attuned to the powers and forces in the surrounding area. Okay. I can feel the presence of any lesser spirit, greater spirit, curse, permanent magical effect, or haunting. I can't ask any questions, but if there is any such extra supernatural power involved, basically for 10 minutes, Shad lays across the corpse, half unconscious, and then at the end of that 10 minutes, I will cast another spell.
I don't understand what you're looking for.
What do you say? What's the verbal component?
Looking at it, hang on here.
I'm sure you would just make something up, Jason.
Shad looks again to the ceiling, his eyes roll up in his head, and he goes, "Send me something, tell me, send me a message," and he just falls across the corpse like he's unconscious, but he's mumbling. He's mumbling the whole 10 minutes, he's just mumbling. Like he's talking to himself, talking to somebody.
Okay, so after a minute, your focus starts to come into down and down until you're in the area of effect, which is 120 foot radius. Oh! You sense tiny, minute essences all around in this chamber. And one greater spirit. The greater spirit appears to be not malevolent and not beneficent either. It appears to be not of this world, obviously. And it's hard to make out the shape, but you get the feeling of somehow a torch casting its light, but somehow making a shadow of itself against the wall. And you can sense that it is observing. You do not sense any spirit or corpse or anything coming from the corpse, because it's a corpse. It is an empty husk of a once living being.
But it answered. It answered my questions, though. Oh. I need to talk to my friends. We need to go above ground. I need air. I need air. I need air.
As you are confused, there is the sound as if a gust of wind blows down into the root cellar, causing the candles to flicker slightly and sway before all is silent again. And in the room, standing next to you, can you send that to the...
It's been sent.
You will all receive a picture and through the messenger here in probably about 10 seconds. You see that.
Two of you.
Well,
Three of you.
well, she had freaked out.
That would be it. Sean, would you like to give a verbal description, please, of what these characters who are there see?
You see a approximately 7.5 foot tall humanoid looking creature, but completely covered in robes, except for the long extending fingers coming out of the robes on each hand. A large set of wings. The entire creature appears to be black, but with white highlighted, almost glowing lines and veins throughout it, as per the picture. After a few moments of it standing there, the wings come up behind it and appear to disappear behind it as the glow starts to dissipate as well. You then see this next picture that's been sent to y'all.
Dead.
And it appears to be looking directly at the corpse. Or, well, its hooded shape is in that, looking at that direction. It's hard to say what it's actually looking at because you can't see a face. The one hand that's extended, though, is white. The hand you see at its side is black. Did you all see the picture yet?
Yes.
The second picture?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone in the room react? And if so, what do you do?
I step back rather quickly.
I'm casting.
Okay. What are you casting?
I'm reaching for. I'm casting Dust Shield.
Dust shield. Okay.
That's the 3rd level.
Could be a dusty in here.
Dust
I'm
shield.
casting it in the personal defense.
I'm reaching for weapons that aren't there.
Okay.
I would only describe it as if you've seen the Dune movie, the old Dune movie, this thing goes across with a. So
Dust shield.
I'm picturing it.
I move out of the wall.
I'm casting his personal defense, Top. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
So like I said, kind of like the Dune shield.
Okay. So everyone's just kind of waiting. They're kind of paralyzed with fear. You'll have to tell me if anyone here wants to do something, if you're all just going to stand there.
Let me know when I can complete it.
The prior turns
By the way,
and
I can't find it. It's not obvious I have to do that.
he and his assistants, they appear to be frightened, and he says, "Oh, great spirit, why are you here?"
The creature looks at Shadrach and in a deep voice says, "You have more questions to ask. Do it now before I take the body."
How do I get the horn?
Are you asking me? Ask the body. I know you were planning to cast another spell.
Shadrach will plunge his hand into the chest of the body and ask, how do I find the horn?
Are you casting Speak with Dead again?
Yes. This is where it gets messy. Tears are streaming down Shadrach's eyes.
Okay, it takes a turn to cast, so once again, you 10 minutes of verbal, somatic,
I
and
walk
material.
around the body, walking around, holding my arms up, touching the body. At the end of the 10 minutes, I literally just shove my hands into his chest.
Okay, well, so while you're beginning to cast your spell, and he starts to go through the incantation the way those of you that are there have seen him do before, the prior whispers something to one of his assistants, and the assistant begins to run out of the room. So unless someone tries to stop him, that's what happens. And then if anyone wants to do anything else during this casting, please say so now.
Ask if the horn's in the quiver.
All right, so everyone just waits patiently, and then apparently the 10 minutes goes by, and now you are able to ask your 2 questions of, so after you finish casting, once again, the corpse kind of takes its head and lolls over you with it, and it kind of crack, and its eyes lock on yours, and its mouth is kind of like barely open. And what is your questions?
How do I get to the horn?
Use the quiver.
How do I move the quiver?
You must know what you want.
The head kind of and then goes back to where it was. And all is quiet except for the slow shuffling of feet on the dirt floor and the candles flickering, providing an eerie light. You can, if you want to do something.
You see the large creature move towards the body.
Now, if somebody wants to do something while he's narrating, you'll have to get my attention. Otherwise, he's going to describe what his character's doing. So
he pulls out of a pouch on the side a large, clear gem. He places it on the center of the body's chest. He starts to speak something that doesn't sound like any language you've ever heard. Maybe not even a language. And then the body starts to vanish. And then the crystal, or the gem, drops to the table. And you can see there appears to be something in the gem. He reaches over and picks the gem up, and as he's holding it up in the midair, it just disappears. And then again, in a voice you all understand, you hear, "The champion of Nemesis has been returned to her. What else do you require?"
Stunned silence from the onlookers.
She collapses across the threshold.
I'm going to go ahead and do a diagnostic on him, see what's wrong.
Okay. So you all see this entity that he sent you a picture of. It moves towards Shadrach and begins to check his pulse and feel his neck and bend down as if attempting to hear something coming from Shadrach's head or face. And then after that, he goes and he picks up Shadrach's hem on his shirt where it hangs down, and you see him look at the ankles. And it appears as if this entity is looking for something or viewing Shadrach as if it's trying to either learn or find something. And then you would roll.
So 28.
So, just for a refresher, I don't know, do you still have the revised diagnostic jam is?
I don't have the printout of it yet with me.
Okay. So, I will tell you. I will tell you. Okay. Jason, what is your current hit point total, but not in like 47 or 30, but in a percentage? Like, can you figure that out? No?
I'm full. I'm top.
Okay.
I'm good.
So your diagnostic reveals that this victim or this person is at 100% of what you think their life force can be. You notice that this person is missing some teeth recently. And I think that might be it.
I stand back up and say,
Yeah, that's what you learned. Very good.
there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with him. So I go to move out of the root cellar. I bend my head down so I can get to the door, to climb the stairs,
Okay.
and I go up to the
Do
outside.
you walk out?
Yes.
What's
No,
your
I walk
mode?
out.
Okay. So this entity turns around and starts to walk as if he is leaving the root cellar. What do the rest of you do? The prior's like, what the hell is that? And then the assistant's like, should we follow him, Your Grace? And he's like, I don't want to, but yeah, we should.
I
So-
move out of the way.
So the assistants and the prior, they all start to walk up, and then the ones that were helping you guys, they walk over and they act like they're going to help you out as well. Do you resist, or do you allow them to assist you up the stairs? We'll start with Pitt.
Pitt, I need to talk to you. Outside.
Well, I'm going to Shadrach. I'm walking past them, going to Shadrach, says, we must go now.
Outside. Outside.
Okay, so you three will then go up the steps, and you see this entity appears to be looking around as if taking in the scenery or perhaps looking for something. You've seen this look, although you can't see this entity's face, I don't think, right? Because it's got it covering. I see it all the time in the grocery store. People kind of looking around for things, and so even though it's got a robe on and a hood covering its face, and it's not like a mask covering its face, it's just kind of shadowy. Or it could, it could be any one of a million things. You do realize that this entity appears to be not fixated on any one thing particularly, not yet. So you guys can go ahead and tell me what you're doing.
Pitt, show it the quiver. The quiver is the key.
The quiver's the key. We need to go someplace less populated.
He told me, ask for what we want.
You can
The
hear
quiver.
him standing right
It's in the
there.
quiver.
Okay.
It's in the quiver.
As you look around, as Sean, I would hope that I've described this scene well enough to where I can say you see what I've previously described, the market, the beginning to open, people, monks.
And I'm doing exactly what you described, exactly.
So
I may walk over and pick something up and look at it. May not be.
okay.
It might be
There's
might be a hammer.
there's like a There's some plants that are growing up the side of the temple that haven't been removed. There's some weeds that are growing in the road that haven't been beaten down yet. But where the road is not, there's, like weed grass and stuff everywhere. So
is there a crushed flower somewhere?
Yeah, absolutely.
I go and pick up the dead flower that's been crushed by something.
So as you guys are talking, you see this entity go over and pick up this crushed flower that's in the road. And the people that are there, they're all like, oh, what's that? Because this thing is very tall and covered in a robe, so it's a mysterious thing. And people are unsure of how to react to it.
It's the white hand that picks up the flower.
So you notice the white hand picks up, and as he had previously described, you notice that there's a black hand and a white hand. And he picks up this dead flower with the white hand, and what do you do?
Just looking at it.
Okay. If you guys want to do anything, I heard you say you were talking, you need to, what else do you do at this scene? Tamar's just going to hang out with you guys until something else happens, so just let that be a thing. So go ahead, Pick and Shadrach.
I need to go to my room.
Shadrach will go with him.
All right, so you guys move off. So those three apparently move south and around the building.
I follow.
Okay. So I would like, and are you following on foot?
Yes.
Or some other way?
Foot.
Okay. So you guys, you don't have to roll, because as you're walking around the building, you notice that this entity begins to follow. And how close do you follow?
I don't increase the distance, I just follow. So whatever distance I'm at when they move that direction, then I
Well, it's your character. You tell me how far you'd like to be.
Well,
Not that it's going to make a huge difference,
20, 30 feet.
Okay,
And
so-
I'm just following, but not enclosing.
but... Okay. So he seems to be following at about 25, 30 feet. And you guys go and enter the building, or do you do something else?
Stay and Pick. Go ahead, and I'll just kind of like stand there and like, hopefully he doesn't like try to like bust past the creature.
Okay, so we'll just say, Shadrach, you stop about here, and
Yeah, I'm running defense for Pick.
okay, and then Pick will head on into the building, back to the infirmary, and
I don't have no weapon in my
Not that
hand.
fucking thing in the microphone.
Tamark will hang out with Shadrach. And oh no, that guy's. Okay, so there's the druid. There's Tamark,
We need to
and then I
I'm
don't
gonna
have
guard
a.
the doors again.
alter.
Sorry, Dan, couldn't hear you.
I'm gonna guard the doors of the infirmary.
Okay. So Tamark stands over there in his clothes and hangs out at the door while Pick goes in. Pick, yeah. What do you do when you go in?
Let me do something real quick, please.
Okay. So,
Just-
new guy, do you?
Just for shits and grins, we use this one for now.
How?
I come straight up to Shadrach
Okay,
and stop.
just
Well,
stop.
Shad does nothing aggressive. Just stands there.
He comes up to about a foot from you and looks down at you. The hood looks downward.
Jason? Check the phone.
Okay, so Pick, what do you do when you go inside? You just go retrieve the quiver, or do you do anything else?
Well, I'm looking around, and I'm gonna retrieve the quiver.
What are you looking around for?
To see if there's anybody watching.
I mean, there's a monk that's coming in and out of the courtyard. When you come back in, one of the monks kind of looks at you and kind of smiles, and then puts his hands over each other and kind of nods and
I'm
waiting.
not back.
Okay. and he takes his hands and sort of like moves them in an up motion, and then he points at you, and then he takes his hand and he goes like this. He says, or he doesn't say, but he goes, and then he nods and smiles, and then proceeds to move on his way. So you go in your room. Yeah, you go in your room, you grab the quiver, and then what?
Head back out to COVID. Or not
Okay.
COVID. To Shadrach.
Okay. So you walk outside, and Tamark's there hanging out at the door like the kid in the smoking area. And he's like, hey, what's up? And then you walk over to Shadrach, and Tamark comes over there with you. And the entity is just kind of, him and Shad are just kind of looking at each other, apparently. Unless, Shad, you wish to do any kind of interaction before, what's his name came back. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Yeah, right now Shad is just like, who's next? Who's with me? Just am I by myself?
Apparently. Hold on.
I will take a half move back towards the building with my hand to my side.
Okay. So picks over here, and you kind of do the step back, and what do? Do you follow, or do you just kind of stay there?
When
What
he
do you
starts
do?
to back up, I hold a hand out with the dead flower in, or crushed flower.
Can you hear that, Shadrach? Okay, go ahead, Sean.
And I say its life essence has been removed.
Shad will take the dead flower if you're offering it.
Okay, so as you're starting to back up, then he does that, and you stop, and then you will then walk back up to threatening range, so he can hand this to you if he wants. So you do that,
And
and
my
then,
hand, I lower myself enough to where it's straight across for him to take.
okay. So he gives you the flower.
What's happening?
Did your character say that?
No.
We're just staring at each other, apparently.
Do I not have any knowledge of what Pick is doing?
You mean if you want to turn around and look? Well, he's not quite back out yet. This is happening before he walked out.
Okay. I will just step back towards the door when Pick went in with my hand to my side.
Do you back up to the door, or do you walk normally to the door?
I back up.
I keep pace with him, moving forward.
Okay, so by the time that all happens and you back up to there and you kind of just walk the same pace, that's when
Can I say something?
hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, Shad's only looking for any kind of aggressive move. That's it.
Okay, so Randy, you get this message here that I just sent, and you do that, and that's like, you do that. Tell me where you do that in your journey to go get the quiver.
Well, once the monk passed me,
Yeah.
after asking how I was doing, I was looking around to see if there's anybody else there, and that's when I would try.
Okay, yeah, so that just happened then. So you did that, and then that was the result, and then you go ahead and go back outside, or?
I'll go outside.
Okay, so now you basically, everyone's just closer to that door now, and then Pick walks out holding the quiver, And Tamark is right there, and Shadrach, and this entity is there as well. Okay, go ahead, Sean.
What happened to your teeth? Yes. You.
Latonius punched them out of my face.
What is a Latonian?
Are you covidious?
No. Covidius is now with the Covidius is now with the Blood Queen.
You know of the horn?
Say that again.
Do you know of the horn?
No.
Are you here to help us?
Those are my instructions.
Instruction?
Those are my instructions.
Who commands you?
The Blood Queen. Nemesis.
I'm confused.
Maybe I can help. And coming from the temple appears a more higher station priest of the blend. He is got like a well-built frame with very nice adorned with gold and yellow and green filigree stitching along the hems and the front. A mantle made with yellow with green and orange trim. A different sort of hat on his head, kind of like when you think of Christopher Columbus, it kind of looks like that a little bit. I don't know what that kind of hat's called, but I'm sure you can kind of imagine. Maybe it's called a Spaniard's hat. I don't know. And he has 4 assistants with him, all dressed nicer than regular monks. And he walks right over to you, and
I meet his gaze as he's approaching.
And he does not seem to be frightened of you. He says, first of all, thank you, survivors, for doing what you did against Latonius and Zonagon. I will be the new abbot of this monastery. My name is Patrick. It is with sadness that I have come here from Tila, but there were rumblings of something happening this way, and we beat a hasty trip here. I'm glad that you all are here. He says, second of all, he gets this wry smile on his face and looks at you, and he says, you're not from around here, are you?
No.
He says, well, let me be the first, I assume, since the prior did not seem to be the type to hold his mud. I welcome you and your mistress to the blend.
So you see the hood give kind of a sort of like a head bow.
A nod.
Yeah, a nod. Thank you.
He says, though you may not know it, your coming here has given the blend something new. Where that leads us, I don't know. So, with that in mind, what is your preferred title?
You can call me the Binaurial.
That's a mouthful, but the Binaurial, it is. He says, fellas, I'm an old-time treasure seeker. So you'll understand if I'm not fazed by weirdness like you all are. And he looks over at Shadrach and goes, Druid, are you the circle or you a different one?
What the hell are you talking about?
What circle do you belong to? Are you an Aslorian? And you know, yes, you
Along
are.
the Great Order. I
Yeah.
know no Azorian.
Yeah, okay, right, okay, sure. What about you there? Let me see. Gloves. No. Well, yeah, that is kind of weird. You got a glove on, but yet you've been hurt. Okay, so obviously you're hiding something. That's fine. I'm not going to ask. It doesn't matter. So you do something with your hands, obviously. So you're either somebody's henchman or you like to find things that people try to keep hidden. Am I onto something there with you, Master Elf?
I'm a businessman.
Ah, he says, very good, very good. He says, tell the weasel I said hi the next time you talk to him. I'm assuming you're local, because you look it. Okay, very good. And then he looks back at Tamark and he goes, oh yeah, bounty hunter. I can tell that. I can see that in your eyes anywhere. Very good. Who was the one that died? Somebody from a different place. That's what I was told. Is that somebody we mourn, or do we gotta waste time with that, or what are we gonna do?
We mourn his loss.
We mourn his loss. Okay. What was his name?
His name is Sylvanian. Name of the Great Warrior.
Okay. And has he been has his body been looted yet, and everything of value taken?
He has been returned to the Blood Queen.
Okay.
Her
So that's another thing we don't have to fuck with. Okay. I'm a little hungry. It was a long ride up here. Any of you guys hungry? And you guys are, because you didn't have breakfast and you just went through this fucking weird-ass druid casting spells for...
Eats a good berry very slowly.
You don't have any of your stuff with you, man. You're wearing other person's clothes. All your shit's back in your room. Fucktard.
You're naked to the waist.
Yeah. So he's
With
like...
blood all over your hands.
So he says, anybody want to break bread with me or not? What about you, Glovey? You want to go break bread with me? No? Yes? I just want to eat something. Fucking blend, damn. Come on, guys. They got good food here, at least, I heard.
They're treat.
I'll sit with you and break bread.
Okay, what about you there, Smelly Nelly? He's talking to Tamark. Tamark's like, yeah, okay. And then he says, okay, what about you? I don't really want to call you Druid. I mean, I know you're a Druid, and that's fine, because you smell like fucking elderberries and your toes are curled up. That's fine. But would you prefer What would you like me to call you?
Shadrach is fine. Shad.
Oh, Shad, I like that. He comes over and he kind of hits you on the shoulder. He's like, I like Shad. That's a strong name. And then he comes over to the smaller elf and he's like, and what do we call you? And he says, it better not be something fucking hokey like lockpick. And then he's like, is it? Did you actually pick lockpick? Or what else? Trap finder or silent hand. Something cute because you got the glove on.
You can call me Pick.
Pick. All right. Well, that makes it easy. And then we got. I already forgot. But Binaurial. Hey, he says I remembered. Fucking A. Okay. Well, if you're hungry, come on, then follow me. And then he's like, well, shit, I don't actually know where the kitchen is. You guys know where the kitchen is by any chance? Nobody knows where the kitchen... Oh, Pick knows where. Okay.
That's the bad thing.
He's like...
I whispered to Pick.
Oh, okay. All right, well, he sees you whisper, and he's like, secrets already? Come on! I told you I'm an ex-treasure finder. I don't have any secrets. And he's like, oh,
my friend.
He says, wait a second. I said something that made you nervous. Has somebody already said that they were something and then they weren't and you fell for it?
I actually think they're quite honest, and that's what disturbs me.
We're going to be great friends. And he kind of puts his arm around your shoulder and he starts walking into the infirmary. You shove him off, or do you let him kind of like cajole you?
No, I just look at him.
Okay. So, do you follow with them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
I follow. I don't go ahead of anybody.
So he walks in, and then he says, "Reginald, you can hear coming down the hallway, like people making noise. It's some dickheads coming down. It's like, and you hear so." Was this all of you? Wasn't there one other one? Did you lose two? Wasn't there like the there's always the handsome one. None of you guys are it for sure. So where's the handsome one that's in every group? Did he die too?
He's here, but he was hurt pretty bad.
Is he here now?
Yes.
He's here now.
Let's go bother him. Show me which room. Come on.
I point to the room.
Okay. He goes over. Reginald, you hear this?
I will get up and answer the door.
Okay, you go to answer the door, and when he opens it, he looks at you, and you see this guy you've never seen before, but I described him, and he goes, oh, yeah, no, you're going to have to do better than that, and he tries to close the door. This guy's all fucked
Hey,
up.
hold on. I put my black hand hits the door to keep it from closing.
Okay.
And I try to push it open.
He just kind of moves out of the way.
So this hooded...
Yeah, he takes a step back, and he just starts watching.
This hooded cloaked figure, 7+ feet tall, is looking at Reggie. And the hooded head kind of tilts a little bit to the side like your dog would do. And then he steps into the room, lowering his head to go under the doorway. And he steps in and...
Hold on. Reginald, do you have any reaction to seeing this? Now, did you hear when he described himself the first time?
Yes,
Okay.
I saw the picture.
Okay.
I am stumbling backwards, thinking I'm having some kind of delusional death scenario.
Nice.
I stumble backwards into the room and scramble for the bed. I can't scream. I'm like,
All right, Reginald, make a saving throw versus paralyzation.
5. That
5.
does not make it.
Okay. So, now I need you to make a dexterity check.
$28.
All right. So, two things happen. The first thing is you involuntarily go, and you take 2 points of damage as just the pain, if you've ever like strained or like a cramp. And, you're like, ah! And then second of all, as you start to go backwards, you trip over on a slick spot on the floor, but you catch yourself and like just fall back on the bed, the straw bed that's on the floor, and you're like, boom. And this creature moves into the room and apparently is looking at you for some reason. If anyone else wants to do anything, you'll have to get my attention. But the other guy, Patrick, he's just like standing there watching. He doesn't seem too concerned. So go ahead, Sean, if there's something you wanted to do. I'm sorry, Binaurial.
He holds a hand out and says, "Easy. I just wish to look at your wounds." And he moves forward to do so. And if there's no preventing it, he
Daryl, did you hear him?
diagnostic.
Okay, all right. So you're just
I'm
stunned.
in shock.
Okay, very good.
If there's nothing to
Okay,
prevent
no,
it, he starts doing diagnostic.
he's just got his eyes wide open going,
So he starts doing diagnostic.
okay. So this entity, you notice, has one black and one white hand that extend from his robe.
With long fingers
And
and long nails.
do you have? I mean, I don't know if it'll ever come up, but does it matter which hand? Like,
Yes, the white is right, the
Okay.
black is left.
okay, so he starts to examine you, and at first you're thinking, what's he gonna do? But then as he continues to like examine and do things, you recognize that he's doing something that's been done to you multiple times by many monks. They're assessing your condition. So after like a minute or so, he rolls
15 plus 17, so 30.
32. Okay. So what is your percentage of health, Reginald?
It would be about 6.
So you're at 6% out of 100. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, he's not too good then. And you notice that the wound on the throat, after like you kind of pull the gauze a little bit and
Yep.
just look at it, and then the source of the wound would be from some type of bludgeon.
So the white hand reaches, I don't know if you can see my hand, the white hand reaches straight for your throat like this. And then it touches your throat, but it doesn't grab or like, it's just like touching it. And I'm going to do a heal on this throat.
Okay. And well, wait, hold on now. Now, is this the thing where?
It's heal / harm. It's that.
Okay, so you don't need your
It's 40.
symbol.
You said only if if the guy has a weapon, then I would get attacked. If I
No, I'm just.
I
I don't
need it.
remember
I don't need it for this.
for that, but you need it for the other one, right? Or no? I don't
I don't
remember.
think I need it for anything. It just depends on whether or not that's going to be an issue, depending on the person I'm trying to
Okay.
do
All
something.
right. Up. So we got 2 hands raised. Hold on. So we'll start with Reggie. Yes.
20% would have been more accurate.
Okay. That's
I did 6% off the top of my head, but looking at it closer, 20.
okay.
Okay.
So
Still bad.
still bad. And then Shadrach has a comment, maybe.
If Pick allowed it, Shadrach's hand touches Pick's shoulder, and he hears Shadrach mumble something he doesn't understand. Pick has a +1 on his next attack roll. Orphan.
Okay. Is there a time limit on that?
Probably 4 rounds.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So after
Yeah,
the
Pick feels a rush.
Okay. The Binaurial gently places his hand on the wounded area over the gauze, and you feel, if you want to describe the thing, you can, or I can do it.
You feel...
Let's put it this way. If you describe it, you'll get the bonus of having, you can roll with advantage. But it's that kind of deal.
You feel as if the pain start to lessen. The vocal cords almost feel like there's something moving inside. Without pain, there's something inside moving around, like they're rebuilding. The caved-in section of your throat seems to be coming back into its normal shape. You feel the rush of blood throughout your entire body, and it's an overall warm feeling as you gaze into the darkness of the hooded figure.
Is there any kind of so you described the tactile sense? How about any kind of smell or sight or sound?
No. Well, other than perhaps broken bones, they sound like they're breaking, but they're actually clicking back, and anything that would be in there would be broke.
What do you think his would sound like?
It would sound very similar to when it was ripped out. It would, or destroy, or however it was destroyed. It would sound very similar, without the pain, of course. But you feel all that crickling and crackling and little ligaments that were snapped, or you hear the snap and you feel it. With every snap, you hear it and feel it in your body. Like when a dentist works on your tooth and he's got you numb, but you still feel that through your whole body. You feel all that going on. You know it's in your neck area. That's something's happening, but nothing's harming you, and you get this warm feel. And like I said, the blood's just coursing through your body.
And I would add in, just because I have more experience kind of doing this, but you'll get better at it as you go. The taste of blood in your mouth starts to lessen, and your breathing becomes a lot less labored. And you may roll with advantage. So take the best of two.
Okay,
rolls.
You got two more of these?
Two more what? D8? You don't have 48s?
No. Well, I don't never need them, so I don't know.
All right, let's see here. There's one, and there's two.
So what am I doing? The best of two rolls total or individual dice?
Just like you had one total,
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
and now you have a second total, and the highest one you would, I assume, would like to use. Obviously, you
Yeah.
wouldn't have to, but that's the intention. So as the healing
28.
starts to take effect, Reginald gets
28 points of 28 hit points back.
Wow.
and divide that by 2, that's 14. So instead of being at 46 days, you would now be at 32.
And I need to know what percentage you're at now because of the the excess goes. If there's excess, that's why I asked. I don't know if you fit that film or not. You know what I mean? I'm asking for that ability. Approximately.
I would then be...
Actually, Daryl, hold on, Daryl, hold on. Only thing your answer should be is, I'm still not at full, or I am. That would be your only response.
I'm still not cool.
Okay, perfect.
And then I withdraw with my hand and stand back up in the room and head for the door. to go back out the door.
So as you walk out the door, you see Patrick go. Come on, guys. Give it up for Binaurial or Binaurial or... Come on. Look what he just did. I mean, he even looks better. Look at him.
I come out in the hall. I'm like,
You see this other guy when you come out, and he's like, I'm Abbott Patrick. I'm the chief cook and bottle washer here now. And he shakes your
I
hand.
reach out to shake his hand.
And then he says,
And wow.
he says, obviously you're still hurting. What's his name again, Glovey? Hey, Glover, what's his name? Yeah, you, Glover. Come on. Are you being stubborn? Are you being an elf on me? Come on. Glover, that's good. He says, look, you even got 6 fucking fingers on that gloved hand. Come on. Would you rather me call you Sixpence?
6 fingers on the hand. Now you've got me. My character's now looking at his hand.
You don't...
What kind of bold?
No, I'm just. He's saying things and.
Right, what'd you
so I'm
say?
looking.
Pick anything?
For just meeting someone, you're awful bold.
Yeah, well, you know, I've earned it. Besides, I like you. I like you. Come on, man. Are you a sad sack?
I don't know how you say you like me, you don't know me.
You know what? I have faith in civilized people. And even though you probably do shit that you shouldn't, that's fine. It's fine. Everybody does shit they're ashamed of now and again. And if you have no shame, that just means you're good at it. That's kind of what makes you interesting.
I have no shame.
All right. If it really hurts your feelings, I won't call you that. I'll call you Pick if it hurts your feelings. I'm serious. I'll call you what you want to be called. I'm not here to make enemies. I can call you Pick the same way I can call you Glover.
So what question do you have?
Oh, nothing here. No. We're gonna get drunk tonight, and then we're gonna talk. Unless you don't drink. You drink, Pick, or do you stay away from the spirits?
Oh, I drink.
Okay, good. All right, so Reginald, is it? I'm guessing your throat still hurts. I would assume you'd be talking. That's fine. Would you like to come and share a meal with us? Are you hungry? Very good. And see, fellas, he can't fuck up the conversation. He can't talk, so he's just got to listen. So that's cool. And then he kind of pats you on the back, Reginald, and's like, all right, these other guys, they don't do a lot of talking. They just kind of like to look at each other. Reginald, do you know where the kitchen is, the dining area? Let's follow you. Would you like us...
I lead the way.
Do you want to change first, or... You want to wear... You can wear that if you want. Okay, go ahead. So
I lead the way.
You lead the way, and Patrick follows. The rest of you guys follow, I assume?
In the back.
Okay, so now you're all down there in the dining hall, and Patrick's like, hey, anybody got anything to eat around here? And he takes his hat off and takes his outer robe off, and he's like wearing this clean, just white button-up shirt, takes his mantle off, sets it on the table. Nobody splash any food on that or I'll kick your ass. Hey, thing 1 and thing 2, just get rid of that. Take it over there to the other table. Thing 3, thing 4, go back in the kitchen and tell them to fix us up something. Even if it's just bread and cheese, that's fine. We're hungry. We're a bunch of hungry treasure hunters. and crazy people, and he looks at Shadrach and winks. So he sits down and he's like, have a seat, fellas. And then he says, let me pour everyone a drink right off the bat as soon as they bring it out. With my own hand to show that I will serve as well as lead. And if anyone wants to say anything or start any kind of conversation at this time, they can. Otherwise, Patrick is just going to talk about how I remember back this one time, and he's talking about old treasure hunting adventures, and they seem mostly believable, but you know how stories are. They can sometimes kind of take on a life of their own. But there's one that he talks about where he was underneath the ocean trying to find the vault of the Sea King, and somebody is texting me. And he's talking about, and then finally somebody brings out a couple pitchers of some weak beer, and so he pours everyone a cup, and he gives each of you one, and what you choose to do with it is up to you. But he drinks his down and pours another one real fast. And then they bring out some bread and cheese, and you all are free to grab or not as you see fit as well. And
and drinks.
Binaurial has his hand up. Yes.
I take up a position, not sitting, but in the very near vicinity of Peck. And in Peck's native language, I ask him if I may examine him.
I respond in my native language. After what you did to Reginald, yes.
So then I immediately start doing a diagnostic
Same
on him,
thing.
moving clothing around. I go to start taking off that one glove you got on.
Do you allow it?
I grab a hold of the glove.
Okay.
I don't allow that.
So he puts up resistance.
So I move around it and go everywhere else I would normally go for a diagnostic.
Okay. All right, so go ahead and roll.
Hey, 27, 20.
What is your percentage of your current hit points?
100.
All right, so he's
Okay.
apparently in good shape.
You appear to be in excellent condition.
Physically.
I moved the Tay mark,
Okay.
and I guess in common.
Do the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay,
Same
go
thing.
ahead, roll.
And what do you
21.
think you're doing, stranger?
Okay, that's fine, Dan. You can play it. We just didn't know if you were around. All right,
Well then, yeah.
go
Well,
ahead.
it just
Go-
takes me a minute to get back to the...
That's okay. Go ahead,
Get
Sean.
over here and
All right, Sean's
All right,
gonna
so
answer.
I ask you, before I do this, because God said it was okay. Before I do this, I ask if I may examine you.
What are you?
I am a Binaurial.
Yeah, I got your name. I meant, what are you?
I am a Binaurial. My name is
Do your name is what you
Binaurial.
are?
My name is Binaurial. I am a Binaurial.
Where do you come from?
Far away from this realm. I am sent where I am sent where
Hold on, one at a time. Let Sean, and then we'll come back to you, Dan. Go ahead, Sean.
I am sent where I'm needed.
Go ahead, Dan.
Are you from this world?
No.
And who sent you there?
The Blood Queen.
And who is that?
Nemesis.
Are you friends of that COVID or some creature that he has sent back to help us?
I've never met him before.
How about Rise? Do you know somebody named Rise?
I've never met him before.
Okay, well, do whatever you're going to do here.
What percentage, or wait a minute, Cobb may know better.
Did you already roll?
Yeah.
Okay. 20%.
And I assume there's nothing else wrong with him other than just...
Correct.
Okay. So my right hand reaches down to your chest, and it makes its way into your shirt where it's touching your skin, and then you start to feel a warm flow of blood throughout your body, and a little tingling sensation, but in a good way. Anything that you were aching from or that had caused you any aches start to fade away. You feel a little bit more pep. Not that you had much blood taste in your mouth, but you just get a more fresh, cleaner feeling all about you. Erica?
Yeah.
Alright, so while this is going on, and I start to feel that, I'm like, oh, that tickles. Hey, that feels good. Harder, faster, deeper. I mean, never mind. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. And you get you get 26 hit points back.
All right. So,
Shadrach is staring at you with red, green eyes. Staring.
Nothing goes to the pool.
Then he withdraws the hand and looks about the table like he's looking for his next something.
What did you say, Shadrach?
Shadrach is just staring at him hard.
Oh, okay.
His red and green eyes.
Okay, very good. Okay, so while that's going on in the background, Patrick's just continuing on, and he's talking about his adventuring times in the islands south of the continent and how he had avoided pirates there while treasure hunting, and he says it's been a long time since he's been there. He was there like 30 years ago, and he met a couple island gals and had a time before he settled down. So he's just like if one of you guys was an old adventurer and you were telling a bunch of young guys what was up. So that's kind of how that goes. So is there anything specific that anyone else wants to do over this meal? Reginald.
Shadrach couldn't eat and just stares at the entity the whole time.
Go ahead, Reginald.
While he can't speak, he does engage with the abbot and listens to his stories. And when he's talking about the islands and the sailing ships, he's all like, yeah, me too. I did that.
Very cool. All right, so you have that seemingly in common, or at least portions of the story. And unless someone else has something else they want to specifically discuss, Patrick's like, oh man, bread and cheese. I think I might have eaten too much, but I'll take one more cup of this before I'll leave you guys to whatever it is. Although, let me ask, before I go and start moving my stuff into my room, is there anything else going on here that's like odd and weird that I need to be aware of? Reginald holds his hand up.
I point at the shadowy figure that's feeling everybody up. And I'm like...
Patrick's like...
I point at the abbot, and I'm like, is he yours? Point at that guy?
Patrick's like, I'm not sure. Yeah, I see him.
That's definitely weird.
I'm just standing up like behind the table just watching everybody at this point.
Yeah, whenever you're a member of the blend, you have to take the good with the weird. So, the only thing I can say is if this is the first appearance of Nemesis or a Binaurial, then someone brought them, like their how do I say this? They brought themselves to the attention of the blend, I guess. And so, it's all, to us, it's all part of it. It's all a one big thing, and I don't know how or what, it's all related, and I don't know how Nemesis will fit into this thing, but she'll find a place, and then, it's not the first god that was brought into the fold, if you will. The only thing that I can tell you is that sometimes the blend has members that are assholes, and they don't want certain gods to be in the blend, but that's like really against our faith. We aren't an exclusion, we're inclusion. So if you ever see any preacher or any priest of the blend that talks about not wanting certain or being against certain gods, either stay away or stop whatever they're trying to do, or report them. Do something, because they're not being faithful and they're not following the tenets of our religion. I know that's none of your guys' job. And as far as you, Binaurial, I heard what you said to Tamark, but as long as you're here, before we go, just let me ask, what is it that you do, and what's the point of you existing?
My instructions are to aid this group. When I'm not aiding this group, I keep the balance between life and death, black and white, evil and good.
Okay, that's an awful lot of stuff. Do you have access to like ethos bending mana or arcane forces that can switch philosophies? Or is this where like you just do what you can and put one foot in front of the other, and then Like which
I
way
don't
do you go at it?
I don't understand the terms you use.
Let's see. Fellas, help me out. Like, if... Yeah, not you, Reggie. You be quiet. You're fine. Okay, so let's go with Tree Boy. Let's say Tree Boy was brought here to plant a tree. And the tree was actually, every 100 years it put off poisonous blossoms. I'm just making this shit up. I don't know if that's a real thing. Tree Boy, you'll let me know if that's true or not.
There are some trees that do have poison blossoms.
Okay, but let's say this was every 100 years it would bloom, okay? And so Tree Boy didn't know that. So then he left, and then like 10 years later, the tree blossomed and killed everyone in this abbey. So like, how would you view that?
There would need to be more life to replace that which had died.
Would you hold Shad accountable? Or is that not important to you?
It's not important
Okay.
who per se caused it, but what is changing the balance.
What if you saw a guy raping a kid? What do you do there?
I don't understand.
Well, fellas, good luck. Of course, I don't know if you're going to take this, or him, she, it, on. Are you a he or a she?
I don't understand the question.
Okay. Anybody? Anybody else got a question?
Are you insane?
Who are you talking to?
Him.
Can you be more specific?
The replacement in charge of the church.
All right. Okay. He's like, no, that's not one of my things.
Not that you know of.
No. But are you either offended or are you just trying to make conversation as he downs the last of his weak beer?
You're sowing confusion, sir.
He just kind of sets the cup down and gets up and kind of brushes off his shirt and goes, okay. Well, fellas, thank you for sharing a meal with me. Reggie, get well soon. I'm sorry, Reginald, or that's your real name. Okay, Mark, good luck with whatever it is you do. Shadrach, may the green man bless your journeys. And may the ocean waves carry you to a promising future. Master Pick, may you always sense the darkness behind you and hopefully surprise it and give it one between the ribs. And last but not least, Binaurial. Yeah, I got nothing. And he turns and assistants, and he holds his arms out, and they come over and put all his stuff on as he's like smoothing it out, and he turns and heads out, leaving you all alone there. And as you all are alone, as the new abbot walks out, carrying a bucket and a mop from one door to the other through the kitchen, you see this very tall, shapely female monk with her face covered, but she's got these far set eyes and a unibrow, and she just kind of walks through and looks over at everybody and then keeps walking. And you all are in there by yourselves now. What would you like to do?
What? Chad will lean over to Pick and whisper, You haven't?
Good. I tried something and it didn't work.
Maybe they think that
You can try since it's yours. Or maybe it's not in there.
he said it was.
Well, I asked for your backpack. That's where it was in, right?
If we have the quiver, then that's the key to where the horn is.
So right now, Pick has the quiver. I don't know if it's sitting on the table or if you got it like on the stool next to you or on the ground or whatever.
Here.
Oh, so you put it on the table?
I showed Shadrach and handed it to him.
Oh, okay. All right.
I am going to concentrate and think of the horn.
Okay, you do that, and you have a picture of that in your mind, I guess. Congratulations. Now what? Is that all you do?
I desire the horn.
Okay,
I want the
you
horn.
desire the horn. Reggie's shaking his head.
I think of it in my possession.
Reggie apparently disapproves of you, Shadrach. He's shaking his head.
Reach in.
I will reach into the quiver,
Okay, you
desiring the horn.
Suddenly something cylindrical and hard appears in your hand, apparently inside the quiver.
I will take a deep breath and pull it forward, thinking of it the whole time.
You have in your hand the healing horn of Montooth. And you realize that Montooth was the name of the Kyren that stabbed Bazan because of the research you did.
That was the right question. I asked for your backpack, not the horn.
The DM, hold on, the DM was sitting there looking at this fucking text, and I'm like, motherfucker. So I just like, yeah, nothing. I'm like, come on, motherfuckers. This is fucking D&D.
On a personal note,
This ain't fucking Jeopardy.
I didn't know if there's anything left of the backpack.
I wanted to ask that from the start because I had other stuff in the backpack.
That's all right. That's all right. You finally got it. That's fine. Now what are you going to do with it? And don't say shove it in your
Reginald is
ass.
amazed.
Reginald's
And he's
amazed.
jumping up and down.
Hey, can I try something?
I put a picture of the Nemesis back, or the quiver on the messenger page.
All right. Holding the horn, Shadrach will hold the horn forward and say, do what must be done.
Okay, you do that. You wait patiently, and the hall is silent. Occasionally you hear something coming from the kitchen.
I offer it to Reginald.
Uh-oh, somebody's got a... Okay, Reginald.
Yeah, I was trying that. I was waiting for him to get that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you hand the horn to Reginald, and...
I take it,
Okay.
and I look at it, and I'm enamored, and it feels like a holy item in my hand. I've never had something like that in my hands before. I'm just looking at it closely, and I'm like in awe.
It's almost underwhelming. It's almost like you were expecting sparkles and streamers and whiz poppers, but instead it's just this sort of coarse, rough, cylindrical, comes to a point, 2-foot thing that's mostly white, and it's got it weighs a couple pounds, but it's like, really?
I hand it back to Shadrach, and I begin to pantomime. Do you take it, Shad?
Shad will take it back and say, "This is the healing horn. Take it and heal yourself."
Did anybody catch that?
I certainly saw it, but I can't comment.
Thanks.
Yes.
I'm just
Yes.
saying that right now. You need to be healed, not me.
I sit down, drink.
Reginald becomes disgusted at the lack of communication.
While that's all going on, I was wanting to watch that gigantic woman monk and see if I can tell if she's like eavesdropping or figure out what's up with her. Or if she gets off anything like peak events or something as to some of the stuff or something.
Right. I understand what you're trying to do. The problem is that she just kind of passed through. She didn't stay there.
Oh, okay. Well, I just thought, maybe she might be sitting around the door or something and coming, like...
Well, she certainly could be. She certainly could be eavesdropping behind the door, but you don't have any way of knowing unless you do.
I will get up and check the doorways every so often, even though it will look weird and people probably ask. But, like every so often I'll get up and just go look around the doorways and look along the hallway out there.
Well, the first time you get up and you look in the kitchen and you see 3 monks who appear to be cooking and preparing a meal. And the door that goes outside, you see occasionally someone walking down the alley there, and the next time you get up to look, it's the same thing in the kitchen, and you see a bunch of people moving things in and out of the abbot's residence. So apparently everything is going on schedule. All right, so now what?
Shadrach will take possession of the horn unless anybody can get otherwise.
Apparently not, Shadrach.
My backpack, was it destroyed? Were the contents of my backpack destroyed? It was my gold pieces.
If you want to go back to your room and look, you certainly can.
I'm just curious if they collected them after the fact. I'm not worried about it. Otherwise, I will just hold the horn in my hand.
Okay.
It will be in my hand until I say otherwise.
All right, Reginald.
Are you gonna keep the quiver or what?
I don't want to. I'm not sure I know how to work it properly.
Well,
I point at pick.
I'll take the quiver.
I just want to do what the best thing for all of us.
Okay,
And
well,
if you think I can put the horn in the quiver, I'll do so. All I had to do was concentrate and reach for it, and it was in there. So I can put it back in, I assume.
Well, I think it should go back in there, and I think we should go ahead, and you can hold the quiver until we get ready to leave or decide what to do with the horn.
All right, I'll do so.
But I don't think we should just be carrying it around open.
That's fine. You can take it from me if you think you need to take it from me, then just say so.
Well, we've always been open with one another, so.
All right, I'm good, and I will do that. I will put the horn in the quiver. I'm not really going to think of any magic, but I'm just going to put the horn in the quiver.
Okay.
And then put it around my body.
Okay. So you do that. Now what? Yes, Reginald.
I'm going to get up and move outdoors, and I will go around to where my tent was, and I'm going to disassemble it, take it down, pack it up, gather anything, my bedroll that I left in there, anything else I might have forgotten. I'm going to pack that stuff up.
All right, sounds good. What are the rest of you doing?
I'll do the same with mine.
Okay, Shadrach's nodding yes, so
If they go to a point where they're going into different rooms, I stay in the hallway and wait.
they've all moved out of the kitchen, out of the kitchen, and they're all moved over here and they're packing up their things.
Depends.
Yeah.
I'm just standing there at the fence then. Just
All right.
observing.
Okay.
If possible, Shadrach will never have his back to you. That's for you, Sean. But don't take that the wrong way.
Find that incredibly hard to do.
I'm going to act like I'm ignoring you, but please don't take it personal. Okay, so you all have packed up your tents and scrunched them down and retied them up and stuffed them into your backpacks, and now you're kind of ready to go do something if you wanted to. Except I need Shadrach to roll a D20. Can't hear you.
12.
12. That's nothing. All right. So, yes, Reginald?
After I pack up my tent, I'm going to go back to my room and go to bed.
Okay. As you attempt to enter the building, where are your weapons?
I don't know, because I collapsed outside the monastery and I was brought back here.
Okay.
I was just packing up my tent, my sleeping roll that I had in there.
Okay. All right. Very good. Okay, so you do that. What about you, Pick?
Well, it'd been the same thing for me. They found me unconscious, so I could only assume it's in the root cellar.
Okay. And Shadrach.
Yeah, my only weapon is when I am here in my scimitar, so nothing much stuff I wanted to.
All right.
Just on a side note, I did not want to try to pull anything else out of the quiver, just in case anything would happen if a javelin or an arrow would come out.
Sure, easily done. Okay. So, Basically, you have all your possessions except for anything that could be considered a weapon. Curiously, the horn, when it comes into the building, I would like all of you to roll perception checks, please. No, I'm sorry, wrong thing. Roll D20s. The rogues, I would like them to, roll D20s as well. Yeah, go ahead. So I will ask for numbers here in a second. So I will roll for Tamar as soon as I find a D20. Where's the D20? Where's the triple 20 D20? There it is, the pink dice of death. Okay. Tamar got a 16.
That was
Okay.
rolled on me? Was the
Pick,
pink die done?
yes. Pick, what'd you roll?
3.
Oh, okay. Reginald.
3.
Awesome! Shadrach.
7.
Okay. Binaurial.
19.
Okay, so. Here's the first thing that happens. As Binaurial starts to walk into the infirmary there, you have an uneasy feeling. You feel as though if you were to do anything, you have a feeling of dread, as if something bad's going to happen. It's unexplainable. Do you have... No, you don't. I know what you have, and that is not it. And as you begin to walk, where are you going? Are you just following them to one of their rooms or something like that? Or
I would honestly probably just stand in the hallway because they all go to different rooms.
okay.
Unless invited to no one, but I'm not going to assume.
Okay. There is a something in the back of your mind. Have you ever been someplace and you were talking to someone and then they saw someone else and they were like, hey, excuse me, hold on, and they left your conversation even though you weren't done to go talk to this other person?
Sure.
So that is the feeling that you are getting being in this building, and the longer that you stay here, the more that feeling starts to affect you. Right now, it's just kind of
I'm
like,
going to go outside.
what's going on here?
I know
Okay.
what it is.
Okay.
I was
So
wondering how that was going to play out, so I will go ahead and go outside.
okay.
I'm going to go ahead and fly up to the top of the roof and hang out up there.
Okay. Any particular building?
The tallest.
That would be the temple.
Yep.
Okay. When you go to land on the temple, the feelings like intensifies.
Okay, well then we go away from the temple. I'm going to try on top of the building with all the blood in the room, or that had the blood in the room. Just that corner building away from the temple. The abbot chamber. I don't know if it's the abbot chamber, so I'm just trying to give you an idea.
I know. Maybe I missed something. Did I tell you that was something?
No,
in there?
I'm trying to tell you. Where
So
I'm
you're
going.
saying you're just going to that building,
the roof,
but you don't necessarily know that there's
Yeah,
blood.
I'm
Okay.
just
All
pointing
right.
so you know where
That's
I'm
fine. Okay.
So,
So yeah.
feeling that I'll
And
have
so when you get over there, it's like it's there, but it's a lot less. It's like
Well,
manageable.
Go to that other one.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So you go over there, and it gets even less.
But manageable here, even more manageable.
Yeah.
Then I go ahead and stay here.
Okay. It's kind of like if you're there, and it's almost like you're being watched, and you keep looking around, but there's nobody apparently that can see you because you're way up there. Maybe they could if you went to the edge or something, but
I have a feeling I know what it is.
it's just
I
got
was
something
wondering
weird.
if or when or how that was going to play out, and that's fine.
Okay.
I got no problem leaving
Alright.
for tonight.
So Pick had his hand up.
As she's walking out, I'm gonna follow him like he was following us
Okay.
earlier.
I don't worry about it.
Okay.
Can I see where he's gone?
You see him kind of, his wings kind of apparate and flip out from underneath what you being who you are think is like a hidden pocket in the back of his robe, and he flies over and kind of like lands on the temple, and then you see him kind of like get a little bit shifty, and then he flies over and to a building. And if you're going to try to keep an eye on him, is that something you want to do? Try to keep a line of sight to see where, or are you going to like run after him, or are you just going to hang out back down on this end?
I'm gonna move
Okay.
to try to keep sight of him.
So he flies, and then you kind of come, you got to go back in the building, and when you go all the way through, I need you to make a perception check.
Perception or observation?
This would be perception, because nothing's necessarily
Can't there be correct?
askew. Yeah.
41.
Okay. So you kind of come out, and you don't see him right away, so you kind of step to your left, and you look, and when you do, you see him just disappearing, kind of like you can see him on top of the guardhouse, and he just kind of either stands or sits or whatever he wants to do up there. But he appeared.
Retract wings and just standing.
Okay, so
Like a monument.
he seems like he's gonna hang out there, maybe. Who knows? But he's there right now.
I'm gonna go over that way and I'm gonna look around, see if I see anybody.
There's quite a few people that are happen to be moving because it's morning, so there's a lot of things getting done before dinner time. So there's like a lot of people walking from the craft area, soldiers making the rounds, guards. So the typical stuff, nothing unusual.
Okay, maybe find a corner that's a little less quiet.
Well, if you wanted to find some place that had less people around, you would need to go west and out maybe by the wall there that separates the pasture from the monastery grounds, or perhaps into the groves past the wall to the north. Because there's people coming in and out of these buildings, they've got stuff to do. So the monks and the infirmary and there's a lot of people coming in and out of the abbot's abode because they're moving old shit out and putting new shit in. So you can tell me where you'd like to go.
Well, I'm just gonna go right around the little corner right there, and I'm gonna look around just to see if I see anybody real quick.
Okay. Let's say there's a few people, and then the monks kind of, the movers shut that door to the south that's in between the infirmary and the abbots. And let me make sure I've got that correct here. Yeah. And then there's like, you hear them say, hey, help me go get the next big piece. And you hear a lot of guys leaving and so now might be a time to do something. Okay. And you climb.
Go up the wall.
Okay. So you climb up the wall, and now you're on top, and that figure's up there. And so right now you're you want to be on top of the abbots, like here? Can you see
Yeah.
that? Is that where you want to be?
Uh-huh.
Okay, okay. And when you get up there, you can just, you kind of can see, you know, what that height would bring you. It would bring you, you know, you can see the Binaurial over there just standing still, doing something or nothing. People down below. And then you see...
Can I see the person?
Go ahead.
The person I was following?
Yeah.
How far is he away from me?
70 feet, 14 squares.
Okay. Got on the wrong doggone building. I need to get over there. I'm gonna look over to see in case by chance does he look in my direction?
Yeah, you're looking that direction.
I guess so. You know, he's got the hood, so, but that would be what you could assume, definitely.
But I'm not gonna yell. I'm gonna talk normal in my language and ask, what purpose do you serve?
Okay, so it's 70 feet. You're probably pretty sure he can't hear you unless you yell.
Okay, I was just checking to see if he's extraordinary.
He does not seem to react to your speech.
Okay, well, I guess I will go down and I will go over to where he's at and climb up that one.
All right, so you do that, and unless you want to do something to change the situation, then that happens. And do you look around to see if anybody's watching?
Talking to me?
No, Randy.
Nope,
No, you just climb up, huh? All right.
I just going up.
All right, roll me a D8.
5.
Okay. So you kind of get on the side there, and you now you're both up there, and you're on a slate roof with like a pretty hefty pitch, but you can still be up there. If it was wet, it might be slick, but it's not wet up there right now, so it's just you two up there.
I'll go over there within 5 feet of him.
Okay, yeah, you're there. You're set up. I'm
I'm
guessing
just
you're
gonna look at him.
gonna face him.
Not yet.
No? Okay, he hasn't turned to face you yet, so you're kind of on his right side.
Now I'm just gonna ask him again, what purpose do you serve?
Okay.
I serve to keep the balance.
The balance for who?
The balance of life and death. Evil and good. Life and death.
Are you here to help finish COVID's quest?
I can't answer that. Understand, I know nothing of COVID other than I was sent to recall the Queen's champion and send him back to her, his form. In his stead, I am here to assist. Beyond that, I have no further instructions. I don't know how long I'll be here. I could be gone in the morning. I could be gone 500 years from now. When I am called to do something somewhere else, then I will go. That is the way of things.
What would you do with the horn?
I don't know of this horn. I've seen you with it. I don't know. It is the horn of a, I am supposing, a dead animal.
It's a horn of healing, yes. I'm gonna look around. Like there's gonna be anybody else up here, but it's just that paranoid thing. Look around. And I'm gonna take my glove out and hold out my hand.
So what do I see?
You see 6 fingers.
That does not seem to be what you should have on that hand. Here.
No. My mother always called it a special gift.
Does it bother you?
No, and I'm gonna just do this. It's functional.
Then that would be a good thing.
I actually find it useful for certain tasks. It's an oddity. People make fun of it. That's why I keep it hidden.
I see. There are always those that make fun of those they don't understand. I find that everywhere. They either fear what they don't understand, or they make fun of it.
Yeah. I lived that since I was a child. So now I just found a way to hide it.
Yes, the other gentleman kept making note of your hand, your gloved hand, numerous times. I thought something might be wrong.
He's a little bit abrasive. And for him to know these things like that, I don't understand how he would know.
Perhaps he's just observant. I spend most of my time just being observant.
Well, with my glove made the way it is, you can't really tell that I have an extra pinky.
I could not tell.
If we travel and you're still here, would you follow us?
Yes. Those are my instructions.
I can accept that. If you need anything of me or have any questions, please let me know.
I will.
So I'm going to turn around, I'm going to go back, I'm going to climb down and head back to the building.
All right, sounds good. You do that. So, meanwhile, Reginald is in his room. If I remember correct, didn't you say you were resting? Yeah. Okay. Shadrach, anything from you?
If anybody watched me, Shadrach walked off into his room, the quiver, walked behind the tree, and that's the last thing we saw of him.
Well, someone having a quiver would be a common thing. And so, yes, you're a little bit odd because you're wearing a shirt that's been ripped and tied at the waist. But then again...
One more thing.
Yes?
The last thing they might have seen you do was casually scratch a cow's head and then walk off behind a tree.
Okay. And what are you doing out there? Asked the DM.
I'm using my pass without trace. If they try to come look for me, it's going to be very hard to do. I'm just going to go meditate for a while.
That's pretty easily done. You can meditate in the grove or you can meditate out in the forest, whichever you prefer.
I'll go to the very edge of the forest and not beyond that.
Okay. You find like you find like two logs that have two dead trees that have fallen, and as they fell they made like a perfect little place where you can sit or kneel or however you want to do your meditation. And that's what you do. And to see if anybody fucks with you, roll a charisma check, please.
Oh, 17.
Oh, you failed. Yeah. All right. So, roll me another charisma check. Please fucking roll a 1.
Sorry, it's 23.
Oh, okay. So, you're out there meditating. And then I need you to roll a d10.
Oh no. I rolled a 1.
Awesome. All right. So, you are meditating and you're thinking about the mother goddess and the green man
Mother Skell.
and other assorted things. When you're startled because there's a twig that snaps off to your left, and before you can react, nothing happens because you look and there's a dirty-faced kid that's standing there holding a frog, and he goes, "What you doing?" Totally snuck up on your ass. He could have stabbed you in the neck if he wasn't a stupid kid holding a frog.
Go back to your mother, boy.
He says, "Why are you half naked?"
I'm praying.
"Why wasn't you praying in the temple?"
I believe in a different religion.
Different religion? There ain't no.
I'm a stranger here.
There ain't no different religion. The blends.
There are many.
The blends, all of them. That's what we've been told.
They are not wrong.
We was told in religion class that if you pray, even if you don't know it, you pray to the blend because the blend is all. Is that what you believe, good sir?
I stand up. I dress myself to look normal. And I say, "Come, boy, let's go back to the temple."
Yeah, without a roll,
My
that's a
friend-
failure. Without a roll, that's a failure to dress yourself and look normal, considering you got a shirt with the top ripped in half. And
Well-
you try to put it back on, and it's like, "Hey, hobo, what's up?"
What else can I do?
Nothing. Okay, so you kind of try to put that on, and it's kind of loosely fitting, and luckily for you, it just barely covers your jingle jangles. And you say, "Come on, boy, let's go back to the abbey." Is that what you said? The temple. Okay. So he's like, "Why? It's nice out here."
I think it's better when we go back. My friends are there.
Make me one more charisma check. Let's see how he responds. Please roll one.
Can't understand.
32.
Oh, okay. He just goes, "Okay then," and he walks with you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like, yeah, okay, I need to chill. That's fine. I'll take
Okay.
it as a sign.
Okay. So as you're walking back, you see this woman, "Tyrone! Tyrone!" And he's like, "Oh, there's me mom. All right, bye." And she's like,
I'll wait.
"What are you doing over there with that man? Do you know him?" And he's like, "He was just sitting out there. I thought he was pooping, but he said he was praying." And she's like, "I told you not to run off like that. Your father needs help anyway." And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mom." So what do you do?
I wait.
She kind of half-heartedly waves back with a frown and then turns him around and shuffles him over to the crafting area.
And I walk back to my friends, back to the main area.
Okay. And how long would you like to remain out there in your solitude?
Oh, an hour at the most.
Okay. All right, so the dinner bell sounds, and the market stops for a while, and Reginald, you hear that, and you hear shuffling going on, and everyone hears it. If you wish to take part, then you would go to the hall. If you don't want to take part, then you wouldn't. So, Binaurial, what do you do?
Sniffer, no, observe.
Okay. So, Reginald, yes?
I will attend the dining hall.
All right. Pick? Yes? Shadrach? Yes? Tamar?
Yes.
All
Hey,
right.
while that was all going on, I was wanting to look around for that tall chick to see if I couldn't find her and sneak, like, stalk her without her seeing, see what she's up to, what she goes around doing
Okay, sure.
all the time.
Do you have any ability or spell which would aid you in your attempt to find this person?
No, I have sneak. That's it.
You have sneaky?
Yeah, I can sneak around.
Can you?
Yeah. I can use my move silent, hide in shadow, hold environments.
Okay. So you're going to try to hide in shadows and move silently?
Yeah.
All right. Reginald, would you
And
please?
if I have to, if I do silent her, I'll try to use practice.
Reginald, roll me percentile twice and tell me both rolls, please.
000
Okay.
and 24.
And roll a d20.
7.
7. Okay. you start to attempt to hide in shadows, moving between the buildings, hiding behind bushes, moving silently. Sometimes you're very sure that you're successful. Other times you you always think you're successful, and eventually you find the tall female monk working out in the garden, and she appears to be using farming implements and watering plants with buckets of water. And she seems like she's going to be out there a while. So how long would you like to watch her?
I am going to watch her until it's time for bed.
Okay.
Whatever I have to do.
All right, well,
I'm going to try to get a good idea of what she's doing. See if I can't figure out what she is.
Okay. So she's gardening. She's gathering food for, you would guess, like nettles and other plants for the meal times. And as far as what race or whatever she would be, do you have anything which can allow you to see through cloth?
So that would be no, but I'm trying to look at her mannerisms. Maybe, I can't see anything pop out while she's working and stuff. Like if she was a knoll or something, if I could see maybe hair come out.
Well, she's definitely
here and there.
right. How about if I ask Daryl to help me out with this description? Dan, go to
That
mute.
was Cobb Grime.
Dan, go to mute. Okay, go ahead,
As
Daryl.
Cobb described. Am I good to go?
Yeah, you're good, Daryl. Thank you.
She's wearing a brown robe. On the back of it is the symbol of the double helix, which is a symbol of the blend. She's got a long brown braid, goes about at least halfway down her back. Skin is normal olive toned, like someone from the Middle East maybe, a swarthy look with, when the sun hits it a certain way, you see kind of grayish pink highlights. A face covering, like Cobb said, sandals on her feet, and she's about 7.5 feet tall.
Would there be any mannerisms or things about the way she moves that would be anything different than a typical person?
She's got large hands and large feet. She doesn't appear graceful in any way. When she moves, it's very sluggish, or like her foot catches on the clump of dirt, she has to hoo-hoo, kind of catch herself.
Nice. All right, yeah, that's what you find out, Dan.
Okay, and after I do that until dinner time, and I don't see anything suspicious happening, I'll feel more comfortable about it.
All right, very good. And Reginald has his hand up.
Does she notice him watching her?
Let's see. She should. Let's see.
There's nothing special that would increase the chance.
He got successful on that. So, but he was not successful on the first one. So she should make a perception check, please.
29.
29. All right. So with that roll, as she goes about her business, you know, she looks up and sees people going about their business, and nothing unusual seems to catch her eye about anyone going about their daily business. All right. Did you have something? No? Yes.
While I'm up there, I'm going to do a attack on that. So
Oh, sure.
140 feet out by 10 foot wide, and I'm just going to do a certain motion.
140 feet. That's a weird number.
It's
Is it based on head size or something?
60 plus 10 foot per level.
Okay, so hold on here. Hold on here. 10, 20, 24. You said 140?
140 feet out, 10 foot wide, and I just do a circle motion, however long it takes. If there is time, it takes, well, the duration's 3 turns, so. But I do however often many times I need to do that. I'm just doing a circle, and then that's it.
Okay.
Not detect 2 stone walls of a foot or more,
Okay.
or a layer of
So
metal
just
or
a casual detection,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Brr," and nothing.
Okay, good. I'm happy to hear that.
Okay. So dinner is joined by the 4 regular people. Binaurial does not seem to be in attendance. The large female monk of sort of odd characteristics does come and bring out some of the food, like the greenery and things. And, yes, Shadrach, what?
Shadrach wants nothing to do with her.
Well, she doesn't really focus on anybody. She's just putting food down in front of people.
Well, I don't even want to look at her.
You don't have to. That's fine. So she doesn't seem like she wants to look at you either. Oh. But I will ask Daryl to roll a perception check to see if she does notice you on purpose, not or ignoring her. What'd you get, Daryl?
21.
Damn, you must have rolled. Okay. Well, yeah, she's totally oblivious, so everything's great as far as she knows. All right, so the food is served. The monks are quiet. As you guys have gotten to know the etiquette and the routines of these monks, do you break the etiquette over dinner and make okay, so pick, that's a yes. Does anyone do anything like talk during this, or do you maintain the silence with the monks? Okay, so
Talking for me.
okay, so dinner time is had. It is not super great, but it is pretty good. You know, it's obviously fish and little tiny bits of beef, and mostly, you know, other like cream gravies and what do you call beans? There's a word for that. I forget the name that you call like beans and peas. There's a term for that kind of food. Anyway.
Goulash?
No, just that family of
Porridge.
no.
Legumes?
Yeah.
Sassafras?
No, Daryl's right. Legumes. So There's plenty to eat. No, this isn't all put together in one thing. It's like each individual thing. And they put like this,
like bean salad.
like they drizzle crushed apples over some of the vegetables to give it some flavor, and it's actually very good. You're like, what the fuck? Yeah, all right. It's like shocking that. Why didn't we think of this? Well, because you're a fucking douchebag. Okay. So anyway, that happens. Dinner is had, and then it's 10 till 9. I don't have anything else planned. You guys made all your good rolls, so no fucking random killers get to come in and stab you. So yeah, I know. I was hoping, but no. And also at the dinner, the new abbot is introduced, and he looks out at everybody and he says, "I'm only going to do this once, everyone. I know it's bad to talk during mealtime, so I'm only going to do it this once. I'm just here to make this place better, and may the former abbot Wakanda make his music in the afterlife with the joining of the blend. Amen." And all the monks go, "Amen." And then they all start to dig in as you hear these wooden spoons. And that is where we will stop tonight's game. So, Shadrach, I'm going to send you your new sheet, or have I done that already? You already got it? No, Tamark, I got to send him his sheet. Okay. Oh, you didn't check your email. I sent it to your email, Jason.
Okay. I'll take my email. Okay.
And Tamark, I will send yours to your email. So look for that, and then everyone else I think has their updated sheets. So, does anyone have any final words before we sign off for tonight? Daryl has something.
I was considering playing a healer, and now that Sean seems to be playing a healer, perhaps I should lean towards something else to make the group more well-rounded. Because I was thinking, I enjoy playing Reginald, but I'm thinking the group having 2 rogues is kind of redundant, and we could be better served by having a healer. But it seems that we have one. What's up with you, Sean?
I'm going to be playing this character for a while. I don't know how long. My ultimate goal is to have COVID back, but I don't know when or if that will happen. It's not going to happen soon. So.
Right.
Well, I will say...
Hold on, Shadrach. Go ahead, pick.
I was going to say, it's going to be awful tough moving on without any frontline guys.
Yes.
I agree totally. That last fight, then, go ahead.
Last time we put kind of soft targets.
Yeah, that last fight we had, you notice they were all looking at me. It's like, so.
Well, that last little thing we ran into, that guy was a buzzsaw, and
I meant all the undead guys. But yeah, it's still, we are lacking in the front line. Considering the how overpowering our enemies seem to be here lately, I don't see how we have a chance against anything without a front line.
Our warrior didn't even draw his sword.
I'll go into cross training, but I don't know how much I'll help. Have to do it on the job.
I do what I can. Like the last fight we had, my plan was to hold him down, and he just kicked me out the way.
Yeah, he's a tough son of a bitch.
I was like, I just wanted to hold him for a couple of rounds, and I slowed him down in 1 round.
He's just hard to hit. His armor class is so good.
I should have windlashed him. I went hand to hand with him, and I should have windlashed him and tried a chance to knock him down. But I didn't.
Did you guys read what I wrote about the nets?
The net?
Yeah, nets. nets.
Yeah.
We should give people, we should all get nets, throw it over them.
He's got freedom of action. He can slip right through that stuff.
Where did you write it? Something?
After the game last week, I said we
Yeah,
should
he's
get
talking about
nets.
getting people
Oh,
in
net. And
But
then,
well,
you know, then we can just all bash the shit out of them. Stab them.
People like that have freedom of action. They'll slip right out of it. It's really hard to net a rope a month.
It seems like in one round he can take us all out or immobilize us all. Yeah.
Like I said, I should have just winged him from the
Hey,
distance and knocked him down.
I got nobody to throw the harpoon anymore.
But he deflects missiles. That's the thing. He's really hard. You gotta like grapple with the guy,
Yeah.
hold him down.
Yeah, he kicks the missile back at you. He turns it into a weapon back at you. That's pretty badass.
If
So.
you threw a harpoon at him, he'd throw it back at you.
Yeah.
We need to get some, like, magical shit to spray in his face.
The best thing I can do is try to entangle him or earthbind him, and still he's probably gonna slip out of that shit.
That's it. We could get some magic dust or something and knock him out, hopefully.
I can charm him. I can try to charm him. I can do that. I can charm a person, but you've got to hold him still.
He's not a person. Would it work against a monster?
I have charm person or mammal.
I don't know how that works.
So an animal or a person, no monster.
Well, you all
He's a
may
person though, he's a human.
you all may get the chance to change your plans or tactics against him. You may get to see him again. You may not.
I vote we don't see him ever
From
again.
a role-playing or storytelling point of view, any game where there is no risk, to me, is not really that much fun. Every creature is not meant to be defeated, but then there are those creatures where you are meant to defeat them because they're tiny and weak. So, you know,
As a player, I like Latonius, but as a character, he's a fucking dick.
yeah, that's called setting the stage for something to build towards.
Yes.
As a simple side quest, even so. And sometimes, you know, there's other ways of defeating things. I mean, it's, you know, it's all about planning and dice, because sometimes dice can ruin your best plans. So,
You know,
I mean-
I can potentially stun him too. I have attacks where I can stun him as well.
yeah.
So if I can stun him for a round, he's in trouble.
I mean, the fact that you guys took out Zonagon shows that when your plans work, they're probably going to be well thought out and effective, and then when the dice roll hit, then, you know, then your side's going to dominate, and the vice versa. So,
That's the whole thing.
you know. But yeah, I totally believe that in a game, if there's not a risk of a total party kill, not every time, but when it's appropriate, then, you know,
I agree.
you might as well just have a reset button on your game console and be like, I don't like that, and then start over again. So.
Exactly what we do.
All right, so anyway, hopefully next week nothing will go wrong and we'll all be back here again. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. If you did, that's great. And if you didn't, and then you come back and play, I don't have an answer for you. So, good night. See you next week.
Leos, fellas.
Peace.
And happy birthday, Randy. Oh, he got out.
Oh.
Bling.
When you kill the Facebook feed, I have a question for you.
Good night, Facebook. All none of you.
I was gonna post those pictures on the live feed, but wouldn't let me post.
The live video has ended since when? Oh well, that's alright, I got the other one. Okay, and goodbye.